Call order this park board meeting for today, July 21st, 2022.
Better hold it. Oh, here, you want me to go get it?
Oh,
Buckets.
Mike,
The very last one.
there's one right next to me, right here.
Yeah, the very last one.
You can take mine. Hey, you was trying to reach Mike? Huh?
Thank you. There we go, there we go, there we go.
While you're over there.
That's it. That's
stuff
it.
out.
Thank you, dear.
You running late, Mike.
That's good enough, Tara.
Oh.
One more.
Oh. No, there's two
So
more,
Franklin, but
but
he's coming, but he's running late.
Okay.
Yeah, he called and sent me a message.
Mm-hmm. He running late.
He's on his way, but he's late.
we'll just kind of like.
Pick it up. There's one more for y'all.
They don't want a mic.
I
That's
don't-
what we're saying. We'll just pick this up.
I don't need to go on record.
All right, so like I said, we call a meeting, roll call. Everyone's here. Like to welcome our new board member, Elise. Mr. Frank, Mr. Franklin called. He's on his way, he's running late. So we're good to go on as far as we'll eventually be a full staff. Monthly meeting minutes. I had a chance to look at them.
They look good to me. I can make a motion if everybody thinks they're fine.
I think I did have one question, the old business on D.
Is
If-
that on the,
Which
which,
signs? It's, I'm sorry, when we did our retreat, I think. No, it's the regular.
the regular meeting?
Yes, it's 6D, when we were talking about the in-house signage. I know we talked about KLMB had a price and the Parks Board had a price. And did we table this because the city didn't have their
No,
portion?
we're working on quotes.
Okay,
So we have to get 3 quotes. Once we get 3 quotes for everything,
okay,
I have the 3 quotes for the Graph Tech machine itself with Two of the suppliers supply the vinyl and everything. One of them did not. They just sell the equipment itself.
Okay.
But only one of the suppliers sells the rolling table that we need to go along with it.
Okay,
So we're having to collect extra quotes, but everything should be finished before the end of next week.
okay, I need,
And so what we'll do once that happens is, I'm going to forward everything over to everybody and KLMB and let them take a look at it. We'll split up costs and then have discussion on it.
Mhm.
So.
The rolling table
Mhm.
only comes from one person, or they're the only ones out of those three that,
They're the only ones out
Provide
of
a
the three
rolling
that
table.
provide.
so you would have to buy it separate on the
Mhm.
other two. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, on that original
So-
sheet, it was broke
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
prices.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, and then speaking to the guy, I even asked him, I was like, you know anybody else that sells these rolling tables? So I've called my sign guy. He gave me the information to another vendor. But it's not the table. You would have to either build a table to fit the roller
Okay.
applicator, or buy a table to fit.
Yeah.
So you just,
But
Just kinda build it
there is
yourself.
an option.
There
I mean,
are.
there are other vendors in
There
other
are.
words. Okay,
yeah.
so we're not at the mercy of the one vendor.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay,
that was my only question, yeah.
all right. So then I make a motion that we approve the minutes for the retreat and the regular meeting for June.
And I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
All right.
Next part is,
So financial report.
Okay, yeah, we skipped over that.
I ain't got my cheaters with me.
Oh,
I
God,
knew that
two of
when I
y'all.
I know, but
So-
it's bad.
Let me just take out my contacts so I can fit in.
There you go.
So take a look at that. See what y'all say about that.
It's always easy. I make a motion that, does anybody have any questions?
I think the question I don't have a question because we're gonna talk about it in the actual meeting. So no.
I make a motion that we accept this month's financial report.
All in favor? All opposed? Yeah, we got it. All right, so moving right along. Citizen participation.
All those citizens out
Don't
there.
all jump up at once.
Nobody on the La La Land.
Nobody's online, huh?
Yeah.
Uh,
Right.
All right, moving right along. Old business. Discuss possible action, red, white, and blue on the bayou, the balance of $5,000. What have y'all heard on that?
What do you want to know?
Is it gonna be returned to
Do
us?
we get it back?
Yes.
Oh, no, see, we don't allow Indian givers. Once you give up that money, it's gone.
Well, I got you.
I don't know. So,
A lot of things that we working with the other people that do contribute.
sponsorships and everything that we receive is going towards Bayou Fest.
I got it. So what I'm getting at, and I know like, for instance, we bought those grills and stuff. There was a little bit of money there. But moving forward, I had a couple suggestions Friday at the meeting, was it yesterday or Tuesday? Do some stuff Friday. Cornhole people were willing to come in on Friday.
Most Friday.
We were talking about, later on in the meeting, we're talking about buying that projector
Mhm.
Friday of the BioFest.
Oh,
Sorry about that,
okay.
Friday of the BioFest.
I was gonna say too, because I don't
And
know.
I even thought, again, I was in a council meeting last year when they were talking budgets, and they said, well, why don't we expand to Friday? And so one of the things, and I've told y'all before, I hate it, but I know it's popular as hell, don't take a big setup, it's karaoke.
Yeah.
Come in and have karaoke contests. I only wanted that replied to it was, please, that means we'll have to have more staff. So they kind of like squashed it. And I get that. So
They
that's
just
what I'm
don't wanna
talking
get their
about.
butts kicked.
with this money, if it gets earmarked back to us, because it was park board money and we're trying to do things to make this event better, is use that money to fund some of this stuff and play police staff. I'm talking maybe
Well,
4 hours, two officers of 4 hours with the going rate is, security rate is 50
So,
bucks an
so
hour.
let me say this.
Okay, I'm confused. What are we talking about now?
Using the,
The
$5,000.
some of the
$5,000.
power, because they
Okay.
spend some of the money.
All right,
So use some of that 5,000, they're talking about rolling it to BioFest.
Correct.
Okay, that's fine.
okay.
But like I said, I suggested at the meeting, a couple of things to do on Friday night. Friday night's dead other than cook-off.
Right,
And we were down in here, we were gonna talk about buying that screen.
yeah.
So I talked about, the cornhole people were willing to do a nighttime thing, it's cooler. The movie video screen, we were talking about buying it to do things at different parks. And then, we rent a DJ or whatever. And to do karaoke, all this on Friday night, and the only thing they rejected it was because they would need more police staff,
Okay,
a couple officers. So I'm talking about a couple officers, 4 hours, about $100, $50 an hour times 2 officers. That's $100 an hour, so either $400 to $500. And they basically shut it down to that. So with that being said, of this 4,000, we can spend it on that and tell them, hey, this is what the parks board wants to do.
so I guess what we're doing is, since they're not using it
We
for
haven't got to
that.
answer that.
Okay, so we're tabling this as just a discussion.
Yeah, because
Okay,
that's what it
we can't
was.
Take any action right now,
Because
right?
Amanda doesn't know about it.
Okay,
Yeah, I would say let's table
Let's-
this
yeah.
until we get
Okay.
further information from the city manager, because this is what we're discussing. At the end of the year, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Exactly.
So, now we do, we in-house, if we have to pay for things in September to prepare for Bayou Fest, it gets charged out of our prepaid expense account.
Mhm.
So that's how we're able to keep the money without losing it.
Right.
So he's here, he can answer that question.
I hope
So-
you came
Table it.
prepared, Mr. Caesar.
We're already on discussion about the money
$5,000.
that we,
Good evening, sir.
that wasn't used. I mean, I know some of it was used, but the money returned from the Red, White, and Blue Festival.
I'm listening to public call for more funds in the city. What, where we at?
We're just on,
8A.
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 We could table this and talk about it next month if that'll help.
No, we need to talk
No.
about it now.
We need to talk about it now, just kidding.
Okay, what is the question?
What about the $5,000 we earmarked to the Red, White, and Blue Festival?
Whatever funds of those were, you go back or be allocated for Bayou Fest or whatever it may be in that case.
Correct.
Is that an action item here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
8A.
The only thought process here would be, what is your request? What is your,
I know, like, we bought the grills and all that. I'm not saying, but
the grills and the
So-
5K and the inflatable and stuff like that?
no, we hadn't bought that yet.
It's not here. We already own it.
Oh, so that come out of that fund instead of the fire department fund? You talking about the?
Okay, no. Hang on. So he's talking about from the last meeting, the 17,250, that it was the grills, the picnic table.
No, I'm not. I'm
No?
not talking
What
about
the
that.
hell?
Just
I'ma
let me
shut
let me
up
get
then.
this.
You're talking about the funds designated for the red, white, and blue, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So whatever would have been purchased, right?
Okay.
Any purchase that were made, we could either divide them evenly amongst that. Sponsorship dollars that were given, obviously right of first refusal. that
Mhm,
case, or
mhm,
something that we spent on that time, we go back,
Right.
and that would just be the situation. So you decide what action you would like to take. Would you like, there's already some expenses that were incurred.
Correct.
Like
So that's what I was asking when I said
grills, for example, I mean, I don't know the exact amount.
$500.
Okay,
Listen,
so instead of, so why don't you just tell him what you want to do with whatever's
well,
left
that's what we were
over?
trying to build up to.
Well,
and you-
that's what I'm saying, just skip it. and just
He's
get to that.
asking me and you keep jumping in.
No, listen,
So, Spencer, I mean, Caesar, what I'm getting at, if there's a balance, the suggestions I made to have Friday night activities, which included police officer staff. Say we got 4,000, even 3,000 coming back. The police officer staff at the most, because going rate is $45 an hour off-duty security, rounded up to 50. So I'm saying $500 police officer staff for 2 people.
Mr. Block, can I be honest with you?
Okay,
Can I have a floor for a minute?
yes.
I've been working the last couple of days. I'm gonna be here until probably tomorrow. They
Mhm.
might see me wearing the same thing I'm wearing now.
Mhm.
Tomorrow, because I'm out in the budget.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to save time. So it is physically imprudent of us to consider having any additional cost right now when I'm trying to establish my job.
Mhm.
My suggestion is don't do anything on Friday night. And I am literally cutting toilet paper out of our budget. I think we need to stop from trying to incur any additional expenses. Anything else we would like to do, I've incorporated as part of another event that's already scheduled. We'll try to do everything in our power to minimize costs. If for some miracle we get the carnival out there and we get multiple things out there that'll cause there to be a reason for it to be out there, then I would say yes. But every red cent that we put towards this, we need to account for every overtime dollar. In the past, the city has given dollars towards something else that happened.
Right.
In addition to that, has
Mhm.
absorbed additional labor costs.
Right.
Case in point, whenever the property backs occurred, there were other expenses that were not
Right.
accounted for prepared for. So although we gave a certain amount, we almost gave twice when it came out to all the overtime.
Mhm.
we did. Same was true for Juneteenth. Same would have been true for this other event that we were trying to.
Mhm.
do. Everything we have has to be covered within our budget. Next year, we will have $0 for events if it doesn't come from hot tax or sponsorship.
Right.
I can't, if I got, with all due respect to everybody that's here, if I got to choose between saving somebody's job and not letting people get employed in these tough times versus having certain things. So my recommendation to you is, yes, by all means, if you want to throw that back and have that back in the parks fund, you guys can make that decision accordingly, by all means. If you would like to put those dollars towards Value Fest or another event, by all means. If you would like to do that towards the my little library project that we talked about in the past, by all means. The sensory games, whatever you would like to allocate those funds to is your discretion. I am not prepared right now to tell you how much is left, but at any time, I can provide that, and whatever amount is wanting to get back to whatever the case is, without you. For yourself and as well as EDC who also match your.
Right, correct. Well, they started first, but that's the whole point, because you keep mentioning, roll it to the BioFest. So you're gonna roll it to the BioFest general fund, or can we get it back and use it for the BioFest as we choose to use it for?
Why don't we just roll it back and use it for something else to go to the parks right now?
Okay.
Your involvement in Value Fest
Mhm.
is synonymous with the event itself. So what you're asking is essentially the same. Whatever you prefer, whatever your choice, and will it is board, we will be on board.
Okay.
We have these funds that are allocated for this purpose that match exactly what.
So
Right
it's
now,
obvious.
I was at $2.9 million over budget as of yesterday. As of present time, I got down to 1.6. Before I leave tonight or so tomorrow, I gotta have it.
Mhm.
So, with all respect to the $5,000, whatever you guys are gonna do with it, please, by all means, make a recommendation and hear it, have it noted to the minutes, and then move it.
Gotcha. So I guess what I'm getting at is maybe we table it and then.
Or just take the action that whatever balance left over after said expenses are. make a motion that-
Basically, yeah.
Based on that, whatever balance left over, we'd like brought back to the park fund for you. for
Okay.
reserve for use. Or if you want to roll it over to Value Fest, or whatever you may do. Remember, we have purchase kites. We have purchase
Yeah.
a lot of different things.
No, and I get that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not expecting $5,000 back, but
Yeah,
you know, it might be
if I had to
3,000.
guess what we spent on probably 1,000. Those.
Yeah.
Those grills we bought were about $22 each, I think. something like that.
They were less than 500. And then you had 300 for
So
kites.
500 plus 200 for the kites, whatever. I had a roundabout there, I'd say kids activities. Depending if you include the inflatable, we're about 1,000, you spend yourself about 4,000.
So we're gonna
No quote.
recommend that whatever the balance is from the 5,000 versus the expenses from the red, white, and blue, that be transferred back and we utilize it for some future event.
Yes, I agree. I second that.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, I thought she made the motion.
If it's too loud, please let me know. Sorry.
You want to reword that to make the
I'm sorry,
motion?
I make a motion that we transfer the balance back to our account to use for future events.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Is that,
Speak.
you oppose it?
Yeah.
Okay, but let the record know, Coach oppose it and the rest for whatever. All right, so moving on.
Let me kind of
Mhm.
elaborate on why. Okay. we have the monies. Eventually, that we talking about Bayou Fest, all right? Why not just, hey, go on and earmark that, then we ain't got to come up with some more money. It'll be already there. We, Bayou Fest is coming. We got the extra quote unquote money, whatever amount it is. Earmark it on, roll it on over to Bayou Fest. When Bayou Fest comes, we done something already. We ain't got to come up with some money. That's why
And I get what you're saying. I was just trying to, like say, I was trying to utilize that money to expand the event, expand the BioFest, a couple events on Friday night. Utilize that money for that.
well, I'm
Yeah.
fine. but
No, I got you. I understand what you're saying.
So let me,
Y'all, I
Mhm.
dig
Okay,
it.
yeah, because
You know.
we've
I
already,
was gonna say, let me ask you this, since we've already voted
Mhm.
to return it back, can we,
Make
what's
an
the proper
amendment,
word I'm looking for? Rescind that? And he make a motion to roll it over to Bayou Fest and we vote on that?
Okay, well, then,
Yes.
then
I
let me pose the question, what has the Parks Board specifically paid for? I know we volunteer and drive around in the carts and everything, but what do we specifically pay for every year for Bayou Fest? Nothing, right? Okay, so then I
But the
don't,
BioFest generally is because what 60,000 of it's sponsorship minimum,
Mhm.
and then roughly 90,000 from hotel motel. tax.
We hope we haven't secured all the sponsorship dollars. And the argument would also be that here we have all these sponsorship dollars, and hotel motel tax that we do for this one large event. But then we have the scarcity in the next few years for the other events that we try to do. So we do this for this event, then they put it out of the rest. For example, we were very close to having this event similar in size to Bayou Fest minus, the music.
Yeah, right,
But we were gonna pull it off for over $25,000
right.
and have arguably as big as our bigger event. Minus the music. We have fireworks, we have a car show, we have 5K, we had kids fish, you name it, we had it. And we planned it, we started early, right, had a carnival and a mud bus, all under $25,000.
Mhm.
So in the read of things, I want you to think about how better we can spread those dollars out. Think about the hotel tax that says you're not gonna use that fund for all tax and special events.
Mhm.
So here we are in the city, we want to commemorate the year-long events, we should maybe be pretty considering that we should do that for a year round. Right, so maybe you want to do movies in the park, you can have a movie park every other month if you wanted to, and utilize them.
Correct.
Well-
And that's what I was trying to use some of these funds for, is to host
well,
that.
not for this event because
For
it's not gonna be practical for the city.
right. My reasoning for wanting to get it back was because, I don't know if you've seen it on social media, but I've started seeing a lot of questions coming up specifically about Mahan, and I've seen people start kind of and it comes in waves, but people have started asking questions again about, well, what's going on with the parks, and $4,000, we might not get the full 5,000, but if we get 4,000, that's updated, that's something. It may not be something extravagant, but that's something that we can put to the park to say, oh, look, we did another thing.
I'll go further with that.
Sure.
But I wanted to discuss with you that agenda, but it's probably new business, I'm sorry. I haven't read all this.
No, what don't been.
We are on the cusp of applying for a Texas Parks and Wildlife grant at a sum of $300,000. Last 48 hours, probably more than everybody want to know about it so far. You're only getting about a fourth of the.
Mhm.
But basically, it is focused around Mahan Park for this specific funding cycle. It allows us a chance to put in a pretty affordable application for $300,000. It requires a $150,000 match. The question for that is, would you like to put some of that $2,000 towards that match? Or do you want to complete your other fund that you got building up?
And another concern for donating funds that was kind of brought to me after we voted on it last meeting was, okay, so if we give $5,000 to Red, White, and Blue or Bayou Fest, when we have subpar parks, then who's to stop this Little League coming in and asking us for $2,000, $3,000? Who's to stop Juneteenth? Because if they have it in the park, we're setting a
those are all-
precedent.
Precedent as to what you want to do. You want to be parks or programming out of balance between. Perfect example. We're hosting a back to school event here on August 6th. The library is hosting it, LULAC, Councilwoman McCullough gave $500 towards the event. I can tell you right now, they're about $500 short. That could be something you could say, you know what, money from there, I'd rather apply it towards something else for the back to school event. Do haircuts and utilizations and do a bounce out.
Well, and I just- Right, and I just feel like if our parks were a bit more up to date, then there wouldn't be a problem with donating to events that aren't park related, like specifically Parks Board related. But the parks aren't up to date, and I want us to be cautious of setting that precedent. We have a chance to kind of backtrack, and I think we should, and use that $4,000 park relate. That's just my 2 cents.
And great point, Mary, if
Mhm.
I say that,
Sure.
You know, we talked about priority number one for your Parks Master Plan
Mhm.
was sawgrass. At the last meeting, we were like carving and nickel and diamond to get there. We're about, I remember correctly, about $3,500 short for everything you want to do. $3,500.
Mhm.
It's the onus of the board as to what you choose to do.
Mhm.
You choose to put that towards movie night on the lawn. And think about that. Where's that thing gonna get stored? Who's gonna take care of it? These things are inflatables and so forth. The speaker that goes with it. Who's gonna do that versus you wanna just finish software?
Right.
At least that first phase we were trying to do the last week.
Mhm.
That is your discussion to have. That's for you guys to make that decision. We as staff will take that direction based on what you think.
And if we take it back, there's not the sense of urgency that there is on figuring out what to do or what have you with Bayou Fest. And again, my bigger point is we're not setting a precedent for other organizations to come and ask us for funds because we did it for Red, White, and Blue. We did it for Bayou Fest or what have you, when we've never given money to Bayou Fest before.
Well-
So-
The beauty also of tabling that is there's gonna be another value that's needed before we, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
Table it, you know, see what they need for.
Mhm.
By then, I'll have a better idea what the budget is.
I just want to speak on the state of the parks with the exception of Mahan. For the most part, with all of the upgrades that Public Works have made with working on I'm gonna say mulch is another word for it. With power washing the basketball courts, making sure that whatever benches, not benches, but picnic tables were gone. They rearranged the swings. For the most part, our parks are maintenance worthy.
And my comment on them being subpar wasn't saying that they were in poor condition.
Mhm.
It was speaking on of what is accessible compared to other parks in other cities.
Right.
That was my comment on them being subpar,
But I
not
think,
on their actual condition.
I-
So I'd like to
Also,
clarify that
as well,
part.
if you don't
Hmm.
mind. One of the things we talked about, and I'm sure that Amanda will probably appreciate this, is Miss Amanda's taking this project to heart as far as the playground. Mulch.
Yeah, they are.
I'm sure if you told her right now, you're gonna $4,000 mulch, she'd probably start doing, you know, that she can put towards mulch and the person playground, she'd probably start doing cartwheels. Am I wrong? Because you were short, you wanted a couple more truckloads. You said MLK was one of our busiest parks, and it still needs some.
Yeah.
So with all due respect, I'm not saying don't. I love the energy, and I'm not suggesting otherwise. But if you talk to me about all the safety at a playground that we already have on there, and so whether one of our busiest parks versus movies on the lawn, with all due respect, I would love to have movies on the lawn. But it's easier for us to get that sponsored than maintenance, like mulch at that. What, plan an event, if we get a sponsor that says, yeah, you know, we'll do this. We'll split the cost with you. I think you'll have more chance to do that down the line. Remember, you also have discretionary funds that are building your accounts. Otherwise, you can start putting towards some of this stuff.
Mhm.
Like right now, if you said take out $10,000 from our other ongoing account to put towards mulch, I'm sure Amanda will make the call tomorrow, and we'll get it done.
but we've already
We
transferred.
didn't do all of it though.
We
Okay,
haven't,
enough was
so
given.
we haven't transferred the funds yet because it has to go before council. It's
Okay.
transferring from one fund to another, so
Okay.
it has to go before council. The agenda will be completed and turned in tomorrow for the next council meeting. But, I mean, we can go ahead and purchase more and
So if
throw our budget into the negative until the transfer takes place, either or.
So if we said, if we made a motion to take the excess funds from Red White Bayou and put it to extra mulch tonight, that can go on the meeting with the rest of the funds next council meeting. I like that idea the best, honestly.
And I'm not trying to.
No, that's all good. That's just communication with them. If they told us they're short, you know, that would definitely help.
For us to make sure that
Just know we're always short.
you guys set a priority to us to make our parks one safer,
Mhm.
right? Two, justification, making sure that we're doing the best we can to add amenities and make sure that things are in working order. And then 3 or 4 down the line, adding more programs, and then 4 was more of adding more events.
Mhm.
So I remember correctly, that was the marching order that you gave us when we
Yes.
started our relationship together. It was safety,
Mhm.
think what you got, then add programs, and then work on some of the other
Mhm.
events, which right now, we're doing great with events and consider things we're trying to turn out. But I think we need to, if, unless you want to realign, and I'm okay with that, I think staff's perfectly okay with that. But I would suggest differently, just based on safety.
so we're not doing events because of the priority that we have as a parks, let me finish, as a parks board, because this is what I heard. But we need to support other departments who are hosting events.
I think you'll get more bang for your buck. Perfect example, and you talk about communication perfect. Right now, as we speak, there's a big brothers, big sisters
Mhm.
that have been going on at the library.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I could have used more volunteers from, which I'm sure all of you could have been there. Could have been great to make that, and again, hindsight, right? Communication, would have been great to have had it as a big brothers, big sisters, City of Marque Library and Parks Board presents to you this on a Thursday night, you know, come out for the summer. Maybe that would have been a great time, having movies on the lawn, because they already have a big old
Right.
white space. You could have just had a projector to think you would have gotten.
I totally agree
Well,
with
I
you.
was over
That
there,
goes
my
back
kids are over
to,
there, they moved inside.
that goes
It's
back
too
to
hot.
the city calendar, citywide calendar, you know, that's all we're,
Okay,
and
we're
I totally
getting
with
off
that
track.
is, like you're talking about over there
We're
is
getting
this
off
city
track.
calendar, you know, we'd be glad to participate in it. But again, whoever chooses the dates, they don't all look at the calendar. And
I agree. We need to work.
so, all right, so, I'm not familiar with the process to rescind it or table it or,
Well, having what Caesar said, I mean, what's the consensus of the board? I mean, do we want to see about rescinding it and re-voting on Coach Walker's suggestion, or?
I think it should go to the mulch.
what? How do I don't know how to move forward with
In
this.
case, you would have to, did you already vote?
Yeah.
All right, so,
That's what I was thinking. That's what
I mean,
was
we
asking.
voted to take it back.
but you didn't vote where to assign.
Right.
So now you just vote to where it's like.
Okay,
If you voted to take it back, then that's one order. You
Mhm.
have gone back into your account. That's where the money
Okay.
is right now.
Okay, so,
Now, if you would like to either hold on to it. If you want
Well, we
So
don't
then
have to,
we need-
we don't have
so
to
then
make a
we need to
motion.
or
make
if
if
you
we
want to do a new motion to address those funds elsewhere, then you can do that way.
Okay,
we need to make a motion to direct,
well, first we need to find out where it needs to go.
What's
So,
going to mulch?
well, I mean, Coach Walker hasn't
Coach,
said
do you have
anything
an idea
since.
what to do with it?
We voted, it's already back into the budget.
but that's what
Yeah.
I'm getting at, Coach, is now that we have the 4,000
Yeah, it's back.
or 3,500, or whatever it is back, where do we want it to go to?
Where it's going to best help the ball.
The, you know, on the last retreat, you know, we basically set aside 15,000 to help Public Works catch up on the repairs.
Right.
Because their budget was already spent. So they've already spent that, well, earmarked money spent.
They've earmarked it, but it hadn't been approved by
And-
council yet.
Amanda's saying that we could use more mulch.
Fine.
Okay, so then I'll make a motion that whatever the amount is that we get back be directed
To the
to
mulch.
purchase of the mulch.
Do we need a pause before we?
Can we pause? do me a favor, identify it for the balance to go to Parks Meetings, because we think we can get the most for about 3,000.
Okay.
What we need, and it's a different, we can bring it back to you, address the other balance that would be to whatever else.
Okay, so do you
Okay,
want to
so-
reword it to,
Yes, I'll reword it to,
If you reword that correctly, whatever we do with that, it's all craft or whatever you want.
so I'll make a motion to, that the balance be directed to
park maintenance?
the park maintenance,
Is that it? Park maintenance?
correct?
Mhm, okay.
Yeah.
To the park maintenance budget, whatever the balance is that's being returned to the park boards from the red, white, and blue badge, $5,000.
It's about
Well, he's saying the total amount.
whatever. You
Whatever's
don't
left
put a
over.
number on it because we don't know the number.
But that's what I
It's
said,
gonna
the
be around
balance, whatever the
4,000.
balance is.
Yeah, it's around.
Whatever the
4,000.
balance is, goes to the parks maintenance budget.
All right, somebody.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? There we go. Great. So, public works update.
Thank you, guys.
So 8B, Public Works update on parks maintenance and park projects in the past month to current. That was kind of, so, okay, come on. This is where we want to ask you. Your name is left off here, but I was discussing what you.
I thought that was this thing. No?
Yeah, but she's been working hard behind the scenes doing.
Amanda, you want to start? I may have less questions after you're done.
I'm gonna go get a
Which
drink
one
real
of us
quick.
would order?
No,
So
I got one. I'm just.
this spreadsheet that you have here is every request that has been submitted.
Okay.
That is open under parks maintenance.
Okay.
So I went through, we printed every single work order, which is, this is Roy's binder. It has every open work order in it. And so this is what we build our maintenance request sheets on top of our own requests. Maintenance that we need done as well. The guys have already went through and done some of the awnings, numbered the awnings. That's the reason why I texted you the other day. They've already knocked out almost all of the pressure washing. Roy is still working on the kid cushions. We had an issue with the flatbed and dropping a lot of materials, so we've halted that project for the time being. The flatbed should be fixed within the next 2 weeks. It should be sooner, might be sooner than that. Everything on here is updated, so the only thing I can say, all the park signs, park ordinance signs, park closes after dark, everything's brand new, installed in the park. Every park has one except for Walter Pike. So the guys have been on it. They have been busy, just the two of them. They've been getting a lot of things knocked out. They've repainted the bathrooms at Highland Bayou. They repainted the picnic tables at Highland Bayou. And that somebody went out there with marker and tagged them up again, but
Really?
yes.
Well, you gave them a new place to paint.
Yeah.
A new, what do you call it, new
But,
canvas?
Yeah. So
Yeah, I saw that.
our new art for now, but everything that we're going through, there's only a couple of things that, if you look on here, it'll say budget item or budgetary concerns. Now, one of the main concerns we have is the park benches. They cannot simply be powder coated or sandblasted. They have a rubber material coating that's on top of the metal. So when you take that off, the integrity of the metal is not that great, but it is hard to strip. We've already tried.
Right.
So now we're trying to figure out, I called the other day, I talked to multiple playground vendors, parks vendors, you name it. They sell playground equipment. I called them. They do not sell just just the slats. You have to buy the entire setup. Each bench is $600 if we're going to replace exactly what's there. So the question is, the ones that are in severe condition, do we want to look at removing those perforated metal benches and putting wood slats on there? Is that an idea that?
You mean the two metal
Yeah.
things off and
The seat in the
replacing
back.
them? That
Seat in the
would be cheaper and still look good, right?
Do you
Long.
think it would be withhold weather longer and all?
There's one at Bayou Park that somebody seems to have done that with. It's the one that's facing towards Bayou Road.
Mhm.
Somebody took off the perforated metal slats and they put wood, and it has held up for years.
Yeah.
And that's the one that
Somebody.
I saw that one.
Somebody outside of the city staff.
I honestly couldn't tell you. I've been here 16 years, almost 17, and that bench has been there the whole time. Yes, sir.
Economically, what will be the best choice?
Cheaper for the city, cheaper on maintenance would be to switch over to wood slats if we could. If we're going for look, we're going to beautify. You want to go with the perforated, but I mean, we can make wood look beautiful. It just depends
Longevity,
on
which one's better? The
either
wood?
or.
They both
I
been
would
there
say
long
wood
time.
because wood is easier to replace.
Then
And not just as easy to replace, but also don't forget the environments, the salt in the air is increasing regularly.
I'm sure we can get
Yes.
Kayla to paint it.
I think that would be a good idea, and also as you're pointing to paint, we talked about painting the parks and bringing more life to the parks. This allows you canvas to do so.
Alana loves it.
Yeah, so if we're wanting to go to wood, then I would go out there.
Well, we
and-
have 4 playgrounds
and
that's
pull
ready
one
to be
apart and
painted.
see how we can, because not all of them need to be replaced. Some of them we can't just simply.
Wooden
replace.
playground.
Okay.
But the ones that are in severe condition that can snag somebody, snag their clothing, snag their skin, we want to pull those off
Yeah.
and work on them. So
I think wood slats.
I'm somewhat a carpenter by trade, so.
Yeah,
I have a question on that. Does anybody know anyone that has access, since you're talking about wood and borders as well? Does anybody have any contact with somebody that can give us a mail?
The railroad.
So I called and talked to not only his company, I called and talked to our lumber yard that we purchased from here in Texas City. Well, no, we can get them, but they are completely against, because they ask you, where are these going? They were very
Creosote
specific,
in.
where are these going? They do not want the public or kids around them. That's
When, if I may, when the railroad replaced the ties on 3, those lines there, most of us saw the piles of them, okay? I approached them to try to get some for the Little League field and was basically told that all of those were going to a scrapyard to be ground up because they did not want them going out to the public. It's the same thing like with HLMP years ago with the light poles. The chemical in those older ones,
Creosote.
they do not want anybody, creosote and stuff like that. They don't want anybody or anything to come in contact with it.
So I did inquire, and I've, not only just with them, but I've called several other companies as well, painting companies, to see if there's some kind of coating that we could put on them if we were to get them for free or purchase them at a cheaper discount. There's nothing. There's
You
nothing can
basically
do.
have to get non-treated, rough sawn lumber.
Oak or something,
No, it doesn't have to be oak, but what I'm saying is,
something.
like she said, my company, we get them all the time for people, but there is some cost. Bayou City Lumber is another place that sells them in huge quantities. But again, as far as free, that well is almost dried up.
Those are type of, one of the questions, what you're asking for purchase.
We did purchase quite a bit of 2x6.
Or 4x6, 4x8, whatever. What I'm actually saying is the reason why rail ties can be used in parks if you're used for exterior fencing or what's it called?
Perimeter.
Perimeter fencing, but if they're used within 100 and something, 125 feet from the closest usable space.
Yeah.
So that could help bring borders and safety. I'm thinking in front of a hand park and some parts of that.
Oh, that'd be great.
See, that's where I'm going with it.
So instead of, I see what you're saying. So instead of like the wooden bollards that's sticking up there that's deteriorating, we could put these along the, okay.
And put them as.
You can stagger them.
I'm doing this with my hands, but I don't know the word for it.
Interlocking.
I don't think so.
I was gonna say
You're talking about going 3-4 foot high with them.
That's it.
Yeah.
You create more of a presence in the
Yeah.
park, entry.
And I don't know, Tanya, I sent you a couple of pictures from
Mhm.
Lake Jackson.
Mhm.
One of their parks actually has a fence like that.
Well, the Highland, I mean, Mayhem Park has it, they're just so old and rotten, you can knock them
The
over.
reason why I said we've done that before, and those at the entrance, you are allowed to cover because they're not being used. for
Right.
Yeah.
Recreational purposes. If you say they're gonna be used for perimeter fencing, that's why I asked the question again. If we can get rail ties, we will put them to great use at all of our parks as entry features, as setting a perimeter for safety, so kids that run after a ball that gets kicked out the street or whatever.
Does anybody have a contact with the railroad? I mean,
know,
I have
saw-
one,
I
but
saw a deal where they, somebody was selling, down there in Galveston. Galveston Railway.
Well, I called Kilgore's and I called,
call phone.
No, it was actually
Yes.
out the Galveston Railway.
and I can get railroad ties from either one.
Mhm.
I can't remember which one. They said they could give it to me at a discounted price. They were very concerned about where they were going. So when I
Yeah.
told them playground border, but this is different, so I can call and
I'll
Will and
talk to
Deal
my
and
boss.
see what, okay. We'll call and Will and Deal and see what we can come
Y'all
up
didn't hear
with.
that out loud.
Yeah, it's just, I mean,
I'll make
you,
it, I'll talk to somebody tomorrow.
you know, we just need to be careful with it because, you know, city use and, you know, in that whole residential neighborhood is suing Union Pacific's yard because of cancer cluster that's directly tied to, railroad ties and the rainwater runoff from the railroad ties. So,
Well, one of our suppliers is up on the north side and they are real close to a subdivision in Cypress and they about 5 years ago got hit with some kind of lawsuit. But they've been there 45, 50 years. The
Yeah.
neighborhood's only been there 20.
Yeah.
And some of the people in there tried to file a lawsuit,
that one.
kind of
use
along
in
the same lines.
Third ward, fourth ward, whatever it is,
Yeah.
the city jumped on board with the
But
neighborhood.
moving forward,
Yeah.
So the other item that I wanted to bring in question was the dog station receptacles at every park. If I'm not mistaken, I thought it was.
No.
discussed-
I thought we were doing them at 3 parks.
Uh,
According to the conceptual master plan, there's only 3 parks that is identified
Well, for the,
receptacles.
Use it
well,
all.
I thought it was for the, hang on. The doggy park itself. But I was only talking about putting them at parks where people are walking their dogs.
That is
I
what
don't,
we
I don't say
discussed.
every park, but I know it's a problem at Laguna specifically, because that's the one I live by and I drive by, and there's like 5 different people that are constantly walking their dogs and,
It's a problem, Highland Bottom Park, if they
yeah.
defecate.
So
on the
I'm-
best
Well, we
part.
didn't put it on the agenda because we had enough stuff. We were gonna put it on next
So we're just
month's
kind of just
agenda
Yeah, and
talking
I'm
about
fine.
this.
We
to
can
talk-
still,
To talk about where
we
they
can
go.
still table
Yeah.
that.
what was your question?
So we're at the point, we're just reviewing
I
what's
just-
been done.
Yes, I mean, these are the ones that I had questions on, because
I think we could,
I thought when we just had the last meeting, and I could be wrong, but I thought we
that was a
voted
long meeting.
against this for the time being because of the Parks Master Plan
Yes.
and because of maintenance.
Now, from what I understood, we were looking at prices for just the receptacles. We're not planning on
I think,
actually designating a
park.
large or small
I
park.
think I was supposed to bring those, but on my birthday, I got COVID and then I got over that and I've just been trying to play catch up in life.
Well,
so-
I got some prices,
Well,
but
I
I
can-
didn't bring
I have
any
a-
of
I
that.
have
I
a
have
price,
meters, I can get prices. I just wanted to make sure that this is what we're looking at. Again,
this is,
y'all request it, but it is, when it is allowed to be when it's funded for and it's approved, we will move forward with.
oh,
Right.
I think it's fine if it goes on the next fiscal budget. I mean, I don't think there's any
Yeah, we're
immediate
not
rush
in a rush to do it now.
for that.
But
We
we
do
were
have-
just
So-
looking,
We do have. a
if
little
we
bit of
have to
money.
spend money, we can
Yeah.
make that decision
We
then.
can look at.
So
prices.
moving forward, basically what we're doing is directing Amanda and staff to get some pricing.
Well,
Is that safe to say?
I know that's safe.
Ms. Donovan?
so only thing
Yeah.
yeah, it's just.
I-
we
I
were
can
just- this
send
all
her
this-
the
this
information
deal
that
was
I
about
got.
To discuss back and forth what's been done, what's been
Yeah.
updated. So Amanda, just so we, it's been discussed at Walter Fago Park. So Tanya can understand, when we're talking about this electrical pole, you're talking about doing the sub pole over either by that slab or towards the front because of that electrical issue?
No, baby, the two poles, there's two poles that's standing in the park,
Right.
telephone poles.
Right.
There's nothing tied to them.
We want to remove it.
We're gonna remove them.
No, I thought, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, 'cause we went and looked. The power comes in on the far pole behind the gazebo, and then the next pole over by the tree, there's power outlets there, and then it goes underground. Underground over to that. covered
No,
pedestal.
we have never
Covered
discussed
pedestal.
any of that.
Right, but there's a power pole towards the back of the library. And there's a power pole
By
not
the
far
gazebo
from the
thing, right?
gazebo.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
nothing tied to those power
Right.
poles and they're rotted towards the bottom.
Right.
So I
see
spoke
what
with
you're
Mike
saying.
Chisholm from Crescent Electric.
Uh-huh.
Since there's nothing jumping off of them, let's just remove them.
Well, I know that, I guess what you're saying, the one on the further side by the gazebo powers the other one, a little bit closer, and then it goes underground. I'm assuming it goes
There's
underground
nothing-
to that.
She's
pedestal.
talking about two poles that have nothing on them.
There's nothing on these poles.
Okay,
They're
There's
just two,
nothing.
they're
It's
just two
just
poles
two
just
telephone
sitting there.
poles just standing out of the ground. I think
Yeah,
at one
I
point,
reported that long
yes, I
time
think
ago,
at one point we might have had power jumping from
but
pole
it's
to
not
pole,
anymore.
but
well, we'll go look.
we
I looked at you the
eventually
other day,
ran
those
most of
poles
the
had
conduit
power.
underground. At some point, we ran it underground towards the house, towards the side of the library.
Yeah.
Okay,
Towards the back of the library.
so
Okay.
moving forward on it, what did he say at Crescent Electric?
Basically, we can tear it down ourselves.
I was gonna
Okay.
say, why do we need Crescent?
We can take the poles down ourselves.
I just have a question.
Mm-mm.
Is- You already have an asset up there that's the pole. The pole away.
The pole's not in the way, the bottom of the pole
The
is
safety,
rotting.
it's riding at the bottom.
So there's nothing where you can sleeve it and then put like, it's beyond repair.
We probably could sleeve it.
Power
Till
company
it
did all
falls
kinds of
over.
put one in.
In a heavy wind or something.
The reason why I'm asking is because, do you want to use that for light? in the future? I'm going somewhere with this, because we're in the process of getting lights done throughout the city. Maybe at that point, we can tell Texas, Mexico, hey, listen, Chester, swap these out for us during the new year.
Yeah,
But can we sleeve it for safety reasons until, then? Is that enough? And I don't know the answer.
I mean, how.
They
rotten
usually
are
don't
they?
sleeve it, they'll
It-
put a short stub, what they
it's
call
not-
stub, they'll put a short pole
Yeah.
It's
next
not
to it.
completely rotted out.
Mhm.
I mean, if you're gonna compare that to, the stabilizers to the pavilion, they're about the same condition,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
That front column at Highland Bayou Pavilion is like that one.
Yes, so I
First
mean,
one.
they'll last. It would take a serious storm to knock them down. They'll last a good couple more years. So if we want to leave them up, we can, and we can just go through and put a box around the stabilizer.
And like you said, talk to Texas, New Mexico when they're doing the lights as a good gesture. Hey, you know, swap these out, put a light on it, whatever the case may be.
The-
We're talking about adding a garden back there too, right?
No, it was gonna.
No, that
it
was-
Got dropped, but it was gonna be behind.
That
directly
was
behind the
KLMB,
library.
Right, but it's not.
but,
No, the garden club is planning on.
oh,
Oh.
are
Is
they?
that the same area?
Proposing
We're talking about the same side, same area?
Yeah, it's right behind the library,
So it-
on the side of the columns.
so it'd be
right
nice
by-
to have a light.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, so then more reason, we can add that to the light study. What I'm saying is to stabilize it until ready, until we get to that phase of light study, and then at that time, the furniture.
So man, the reason why I brought it up, I wouldn't have. Didn't know that's what what you were talking about, because I know in previous discussions or whatever, you had talked about perhaps doing a pole or like where that cement slab is, because that electrical right there, maybe making that electrical station. So that's where I thought you were saying about a pole, is maybe putting a pole towards the front.
Yes,
so you can feed
and
off
so,
to-
and the reason why I'm saying that is because every year, for Christmas, because that's our Christmas part. Every year we have to go through and redo all of the electrical because it's too close to the ground, the ants get into it, water gets to it. So we always have to redo the electrical up there. So what we discussed was raising the electrical off the ground. But where it's located at is near the concrete pad. So we would have to put something near the concrete pad, or we can move it We can move the conduit away.
General idea, we talked about the library adding something on that concrete
Mhm.
pad,
Yes.
like a checkerboard or a
Yeah.
chessboard or something. that you can have
Interchangeable,
plugged in,
at least 4 of them.
Something that you can do up there. We also talked about adding an outside library, where somebody could just close the front, library is closed, and sit in the room and read books. That outdoor library could help hide that conduit box. Those things are about $300. You can just, remember the goal we talked about, that you guys agreed on was adding one of these little libraries like every one of our parks. They're about $300 to
So that
$500.
box where it's located would no longer be used, is that what I'm hearing? It'll
Currently,
be
it's got
moved
power.
somewhere else? Okay, then we can pad that area so kids can sit around it. I was always concerned about
Right
that
at
box.
bench.
No, it-
Yeah, we can
that's-
put something there for them to sit down.
Yeah, no, it's secured. That-
I mean, how to
thing
manage
about
that
that.
thing, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do to hide that location.
Anyway, that's what I brought up about the poll, because I didn't know about those. I was thinking in the
So,
previous
Did
conversation.
you have anything else, Amanda? Because I just have one question and you answered all of my others. Okay, it's the items that that we're requesting removal. What is the status or the plan for those items? For instance, the playground at Highland Bayou. I'm not even gonna talk about Bayou because I know that's a more difficult removal because of the swing so close to the fence.
Bayou Park.
Right,
Right,
Bayou Park.
yes.
Yes, so the guys actually tried to attempt that this week. We're gonna attempt it again next week.
Okay,
I'm down to literally 2 operators for
Okay.
all of Public Works right now. So we're a little stunted.
That's my
Um,
part.
Yeah.
Bayou Park,
Yeah,
yes, sir. It's the little green man with the 2 swings.
It's
his
the
arms out, 2
clown.
Swings hanging down.
Plan.
and
They
then
were
Highland,
overbuilt.
one is rotted out,
Yeah.
the little, I think it's the little monkey climb, but it's rotted
Okay,
out.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
those
yes.
are the only.
So
two
I have
and a
requests in
couple
the,
poles.
in the system for those to be looked at.
Okay.
If they're in terrible condition, we will tear them down.
Yeah, the one
If,
at Highland Mile Park.
They can
Yeah.
be
Yeah, it
saved,
need- no,
then
it's
we
got
will,
preserve.
we will fix them up, paint them. make 'em
Because
look
it's that
better.
whole, there's only 2
Holes
poles
all
and
throughout.
they're completely
Mhm.
rusted through both poles.
Okay,
So it's for their candidates to just be come down because they're rusted through and ragged.
okay.
And only one of the playgrounds were missing a bar on each side. Are y'all able to just go and get those and insert them back in there? Is it that easy?
Which program?
At Highland Bayou?
I'd have to go out and look.
Oh.
Typically, we can have those bars fabricated
Okay.
to,
And then welded in.
It's
Yeah.
that, what she's talking about is,
Quick question. Where,
that might not be in the master plan. It might be.
no mistake, where in proximity to the park?
it's over. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Bayou Road, so it's over here.
It's on the back.
And it's right against the fence.
And when they were putting ground years ago, they were like overbuilt. It's, it's a huge, they pulled one out at Laguna Park. It's a huge, huge piece of cement.
like Mike was saying.
I was just thinking of something because of, I don't know how much space we have here, but hear me out about this. That's- If the structure itself is in good shape and you.
That's what the issue is.
Stability of it and removing it instead, maybe if it's not too close to wherever this boundary is, why not reconsider moving past that? I'm asking because. it's a
No.
pedestrian-
So is it
It,
close to
the-
that?
It's the
No,
park
but
that's
that's
right
what
over
I'm-
here. Yeah,
I'm
it's
trying to
the
visualize.
part,
The
the,
swing is
right.
close
off the
to
top of my head,
That's what-
the fence
so,
is all
okay, okay.
funky.
So,
They're saying that,
so if you're saying that, then the fence needs to be replaced.
yeah, that, I mean,
So,
that's been.
there's your solution.
So if the.
If you
And I
can,
think it's
if
already-
you can go back,
If you can go back to set back the area.
yeah.
You okay,
Yeah.
Amanda?
The structure. Once you lift that thing up, you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know what's going on underneath. You don't know. what's
Oh,
gonna
it's.
happen.
It's a big
It's
rock,
a
but they
huge-
removed one before.
They removed one already at
Laguna.
Laguna.
Maybe the thought is not go crazy labor of doing that. Instead, fix the fence. That's a much easier, cheaper,
Yeah.
faster fix.
And the fence
And
is
now you take
going to
care
be
of your
replaced
fall
on
zones,
the
so on and so forth.
master plan anyway, because
Anyway,
it's cheaper.
yeah,
And the chain link's even better. You just pass the, take the poles out of the way, almost make a funky U, but at least you're
Yeah.
protecting what you want is safety. That's your number one thing to talk about. There you go.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
think
good.
Amanda got something to say about that.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think
Amanda,
Amanda was trying to add something to
I
the
think she
issue
got
with the
something to say
fence.
about
Before
the
she
fence.
started coughing her head off.
Yeah,
Okay, that's it.
I didn't die. There is hardly, the reason why I say that is because, there is hardly any space for us
To
to
go
move
backwards.
the fence away without being right up on the road. It's a very tiny park, very limited space. Now, could we move it, could we pull it out and move it to another location within that park? It's
Here we
possible.
go. Caesar.
It's possible.
Well, let me throw this out there and ask you this, okay? Basically what
Yeah,
you're
this
saying,
is the
and if I
swing
understand
and
it,
that's the
Mike,
slide.
when they cemented it in, they overkilled.
Oh, big.
So basically, you would bust up the concrete, take it out, then you could move it without
Yes,
having a
because
big
when
old
we,
chunk of concrete.
when we tore the one down that was at Laguna Park,
Uh-huh.
the twin to that,
There's
the concrete base was about 10 feet around.
there's another issue with this. Much easier solution to that. These are kitty.
Mhm.
Kitty
these are
swings.
kitty swings.
They're out of compliance.
It's
too.
no, they're, I can't tell by the condition of them. You can still use them. Those are still legal. The problem is the chain is too long. Parents don't go to the playground and put their kid that low. That's why the fence is away.
Then a
But
good
even
power
problem is just
washing.
Lift it up, like get rid of some chain link fence, move it up. And that way the fence isn't a problem because it's a kiddie slide. I mean, it's not a regular swing where a child's gonna go up and down from. They put, first of all, they're facing the right direction to the inside. If you do that, you don't gotta worry about removing it or that. Just move the chain link up.
Okay.
See what I'm
Take
saying?
about
It's right
2
now.
And
Yeah.
clean it.
Right
It needs
now,
to
these
be
things-
clean.
Well, I thought the-
Yeah.
I thought it was-
And
Another
the
one
only
called
reason
bucket.
why we
They call it
discussed
bucket
moving
or
it is
two-
because
Put 'em in
TML
bucket.
told us. to move it.
Raise the chain.
That
link.
Oh, no, the whole thing. It
Oh, that
You
needs
know,
to be
like
painted.
those signs.
If you
It's
take
got
it-
that
take
stuff
it-
on it.
Yeah, it's just basically painted. I think. Man, I thought I had took a picture of that. I thought I took a picture. I know it did.
Okay.
of
As
Then
long
yeah,
as you
they're
keep
Thanks,
it
man.
as a kitty
Swings, right.
Yeah.
Seen it.
Move it up about 1.5 feet, 2 feet.
Hey, you can go, if you want to negate that, go up higher. We can go out there and measure. We can go out there and measure, take a look at it. Tell me when you have time. We'll go out there. But that's an easier solution to that. That way you get rid of the TML compliance, that's for insurance. And the reason why is because of, right now, the way that fence is, because of the chain, when it swings back,
Oh, I
They
see
right
it,
into
yeah.
it, yeah.
just shorten the chain.
Yeah.
Shorten the chain about 2 feet and you're high, because as a parent, if we're gonna go take our child, we're gonna do this. We're not gonna do this, which right now is what looks like in that picture.
Get a balance beam.
Yeah, probably bounced anyway.
Missy?
And also, that's one thing that is a compliance thing, that when I did Saturday, when I walked around the parks, everyone,
What's
the
the
swings that has
benefit?
excess chain. you
Ain't
gotta have that.
shaped right. She only got a
Is it
portion of
hanging
it.
from the
Unless it
top?
had slats, I'm gonna call it like that.
Whether it's on the elbow or on.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because it's supposed to just attach at the top and then come down so many feet. There should be no excess, no pinch points.
All right, so y'all got anybody else got any questions on this?
That's all I had about that. Thank you, Amanda. Great
Just
update.
pass on to Roy and what's the other gentleman's
Daniel.
name? Daniel. Thank
Do
you
we-
for all their hard work.
Yeah.
Because I know they've been out there in the heat and
And this
everything.
heat is a
doing all this.
killer.
And it's just the two of them.
Okay. Parkville wants to donate some powdered Gatorade to them, I'm sure they'll be more than happy to do it.
Oh, can we do that? I mean, I didn't know if we were.
What y'all do with y'all stuff is at your discretion.
What we do
All right,
as citizens to the employees of the
Go ahead,
city
Coach.
is up to us.
That amendment is an easy fix for that. You guys will let it.
Okay.
Worst case, 4 feet max. in the fence back.
Do we need to make any motions
No, it
for?
was just
Okay,
discussion
just
about.
discussion, okay.
Anybody,
Coach
coach wants to
got
talk?
on.
I'd like to ask a question here, and this comes up every time we talk about this darn maintenance. Okay, and I know you smile, but you know what I'm gonna say. Every time we look at this, and I'm talking about security camera. What are we gonna ever be done
With the security?
and it's always the IT department, But when are we gonna ever have security cameras?
Coach, I can talk to you about that. We got security cameras that were on order since before this thing got on here. We have to see. There's some of them that are back where we need to have it with us for about 2 years.
Can I piggyback
hold
on
on,
what
me
Coach is
too.
saying?
And I understand that, but we've been talking about security before you even got here.
Before I got here.
It's been security cameras, and those niggas, they know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean, we might have been talking about it before Bob got here.
No.
Can I ask this question?
Something gotta give here.
Can I ask this question on top of what Coach is saying? Okay, I have a ring system. Why do we have to spend a whole ton of money, especially under budget crunches right now? That ring system I have, I can show y'all right now. I can see it. I can see my neighbor's backyard as clear as I can see Caesar.
You're absolutely right.
Why is it taking us so long to get security cameras like Coach said?
Aren't-
And what kind are they that it's taking so
So
long?
one, if my understanding correctly, Randy, you and Lisa may know more about this, but there's no internet. It's really at that part.
There is.
I understand that issue.
I
And
thought
Which
it,
park
there
y'all talking
are
about?
workarounds.
How about you, Mark? Is that how we're doing?
No.
So-
Well, it's not just.
There's
Highland
internet
Bike.
there.
Well,
There
it's
are
both parks.
workarounds.
So it's both parks
Yeah.
that we've requested the cameras for a long time. Mahan is an issue when it comes to the internet. They're going to have to jump off of the internet from the wastewater treatment plant, which isn't that great to begin with.
Yeah.
So Mahan is the bigger issue. Highland Bayou Park, we did put the cameras up as requested. Now, as far as expanding out, it's taking a little bit long. The problem is, we discussed putting them on the telephone poles in the cook-off area, spread them out as best as we can, and boosting that Wi-Fi signal out there so it can reach to all the cameras. So on top of that, it has to be a system where police department can sit there and see everything going on at all times at the parks.
I have,
It's the program that they discussed.
okay,
Yeah.
so I have a question. I just saw a post on City of Lamarck that said that we got a grant and part of that included city for broadband. Is that something?
That is one of the possibilities. we can do.
So,
We have earmarked as part of our ARPA survey, some dollars that can be used for that. That is one of the categories, which I hope by now all of you have. That's one of my items for discussion, so I'm glad we can get into that. I haven't got enough park support. And let's be honest in this room, how many of y'all? Listen, how,
yeah,
okay? As advocates of the board, I need y'all to get it done. And it's get everybody in your circles and your neighbors and your friends, and everybody else to get it done. It's important because you have a pot of money up to $500,000, $450 specifically for projects like what you're saying.
mhm,
And $50,000 is specifically going to earmark for park improvements if it gets the votes. And right now, it's on the outside looking in. We don't get more votes.
right,
So your perspective is to get support from the state, we need that to be done. But that is one of the items.
okay.
As well as attacking some of these other auxiliary things that we have on Spark Master Plan.
And-
we agree with you in the board together.
And if we're gonna turn that into a sportsplex and we're gonna have a little, and I'm just throwing this word out, I'm not saying it's for sure, the amphitheater setup thing for Bayou Fest or for any events, boosting internet, getting internet out there would be a huge, huge community give back. Oh, yes, yes, Mr. Caesar.
The next item that I was gonna ask was if there is some funding coming down the pipes for broadband for areas that we qualify for. At the time of application for those, I'm gonna need some support on these board recommendations. One of my goals that we talked about, that Mr. Rock about, which was probably agreed with, was at some point for every one of our parks to have free Wi-Fi. And-
I love that.
And broadband access. And I will need your support in doing so. Just
Yeah.
As my next item,
Mhm.
which was the Mahan Park support, Mr. Bob, we did get that response of the letter. Some tweaks we need on that, we can make something a little bit different. And once we have that, we will be, so you know, we are putting an application in for improvements in Mahan Park. We qualify
What
in
he's talking about
Texas
right
Parks and Wildlife for a grant of $300,000 that we're applying for. It requires a 50-50 match, which the intention should be approved, would be to take 150 out of the funds that you are collecting. You've already earmarked 150,000 of that to match the Mahan boat grant, but by the latest tally of funds where we are and what we intend to collect by the time it's going to be finished, you should be in very good shape to get some progress. Okay. So if I can close the three different things that I'm asking for, broadband, ARPA survey, and support for this Mayhem Parks project.
Can I make a suggestion
No.
as far as the camera stuff? Reach out to Dr. Duarte, and I can't remember Craig's last name, that's over security for TCISD. Those guys know, because they've done it in some of the schools where the broadband is not that great. They know some little tricks that we might be able to use to piggyback to get this camera situation moving forward. When Mike Matranga was there were some things that he told me for us at the Little League to do, which we did for a while.
He's not still there?
No,
But I can give him a call because I,
you know, Mike,
very well.
yes. So, but I'm just saying, those guys are experts at stuff like that. And they might know a thing or two that can help us move forward with those cameras. Since we know both of those spots out there don't have perfect broadband.
Well,
Until-
Hannibal does.
Huh?
Hannibal does, because he's got, Hannibal actually piggybacks off the sewer plant,
Yeah.
and then it's got repeater
Island Bayou
antennas.
or Mayhem?
Hannibal. It does have Wi-Fi. You go out there and pick it up. Because of these festivals, the festival organizers and stuff were asking for the Wi-Fi because they need it for their scanners and all that. So
Credit
they're
card
all the way into
machines and
Cook
all
area because there's an antenna by the tennis courts. And then a booster antenna, I want to say, an electrical panel in the middle of the cook-off area.
Well,
So this there, the cameras, the issue, we were trying to get one, they keep talking about an electrical panel. Well, that electrical panel is 120 foot away from the road.
yeah,
We've been asking to put it in the Al Reed Pavilion because it's
it's right there.
15 foot from the road.
We can't put one in the Alreda Pavilion. Can't put a camera, we can't put anything off that pavilion. This is the reason why we discussed putting it on the telephone poles in the cook-off area. The pavilion is too short. You put anything you attach to that pavilion, it's gonna get ripped down.
Well, I backed my truck in there when I moved those tables and stood in the bed and I couldn't touch that Al Reed sign without jumping. And that's
Sorry,
what-
but we
which is the
had,
peak.
but as high as our
But you're
cameras
not a
are at
15-year-old.
Hollow Bayou Park under the pavilion, they were still vandalized. They will go on the poles in the cook-off area only. We'd be wasting money if we put them on the pavilions.
But the goal with that was, and I understand what you're saying, but the goal with that was try to capture some kind of good description of the cars coming in and out.
And you could do that if you set them in the right place on the
And
poles in the
you're
cook-off
talking the
area.
difference like 150 foot.
Well, what about, go ahead, Coach.
Y'all. Only question.
There you
Okay,
go.
there you
There
go.
you go. I was trying to get a breath in.
I was just gonna say, if push came to shove, why couldn't we just put a pole at the height that we need it to be by the Al Rita Pavilion
Yeah,
and call
there
it
you
a
go.
day?
That's a good
You know
idea.
what I'm saying? I mean, we're sitting here arguing about stuff.
So
that-
yes,
Well, we're
arguing about
just-
cameras that we don't have yet.
Yeah.
So how about we wait till they come in and then we can
All right,
discuss.
we're gonna move on to 8C. And there was a confusion with that when I sent it to Venetia, but what I was asking for is on the retreat or last board meeting, there was so much stuff discussed. I was kind of confused and I was just asking for a list of what everything we approved of that, whatever it was, $17,000 was just a list of what all we actually approved. That's what 8C was. It wasn't talking about the next year's budget. All right. So moving on to 8D, the question is about getting those bricks done or put out there because that shoreline is going day by day.
I understand, but again, I have two operators for all of our operations right now. So what it is when they tore the school down, Haley Elementary, when they tore that school down, we took the brick back that they tore down and we loaded it out there at Hollow Bayou Park. Mac then, who was president of the Parks Board, went to the Army Corps engineer, got a letter from them stating that we could put the brick back in the water. There was an issue at the time with the city manager and Mac. and the project was halted, and it has went no further since then. So the brick rack,
What would have stopped that from happening?
He didn't like that. He preferred like a bulkhead instead of,
But even if you did, I mean, there's so much distance needed, you can put bulkhead and put that.
yeah, no, well, I mean, true, but that's what he was against.
Yes. and we had lab reports and everything done,
Concrete cap.
testing the brick back, saying that it was clear to put in the water.
Yeah, it had to,
So
It was
was it for
personal
those specific
differences.
bricks?
Yeah.
Do you have a copy of that letter?
I can see if I can. find
somewhere,
it.
it's, we might
The
have,
reason is we would need that before we done.
yeah, because Mac pushed all of it, and he tried to get it, and there was a snafu, because they tore down a bigger building that was called junior high school. The ball got dropped on there, so we didn't get no bricks. So now fast forward to when that used to be referred to as the intermediate school, now it's Haley. When that school was tore down, Mac was pushing it, and he talked to Corps of Engineers. Corps of Engineers said, fine, as long as you certify don't have asbestos remnants on it. And so he got with the general contractor, and that general contractor provided him with a letter saying this is clean brick.
And so there was an email that went out today, iPad today, but there was an email that went out today from the letter that Matt got approved from the Army Corps of Engineers, says there's no expiration date as far as that brick back.
I brought it if I wanted.
So this sketch. The reason why, is you also might be prudent for us to share that letter with the GMO, because when the grant we applied for, we're waiting back on.
I brought it. I don't
She
need
has
it
a
if
copy of the
y'all
letter.
want it.
Or because Caesar's not aware of it. I mean, most of us are.
But finish your thought.
No, the idea is because we applied for funding for tier 1 GLO, and one of the thoughts is to do exactly what we're talking about, that if we could get more material that gets certified in other places, we could continue to start making a bulkhead. Then we don't gotta pay for the bulkhead and the fill.
And that's what we were trying to
I need
discuss
you to
with.
sign your life away for it.
And that's what we were trying to
Okay, you can
discuss
take it. I
was,
don't need it.
with Tech Stop milling up these roads, we were trying to get all this rock from Tech Stop on the concrete that they're pulling up to
Yeah.
drop in there. I know the last city manager inquired about it, but I don't know where it went after.
Well, and even if we couldn't drop it in the water there, you could certainly use that to fill in the low spots in the roads.
No, and it was,
It's-
you can see the picture.
yeah.
It definitely needs to go right there in the water. 'Cause-
No, but I'm just saying, if for some reason they said we couldn't.
Oh,
use
no,
it
the Corps of Engineers proved.
Not
Just
the
get
bridge,
it.
No,
I'm talking
he's saying
about
the road.
The mill,
Oh, so let me tell you about that while he's looking. at that. Base construction based out of Hitchcock. You know, it was, I
Travis,
guess,
yeah.
right there on 2004, you see that yard they got where they're busting down all that? That's, I don't know how to, get a hold of them, inquire about that, whether they're recycling or what they're doing. But that's where
Well, I
they're
can call
busting down.
Travis, yeah.
That's where they're busting down all the cover.
Okay.
They're just creating a big old pile of riprap right there.
2004.
Just tell him Uncle Mike asked about it.
On this letter, it pretty much gives us some verbiage to it. It's just, it's more than 500 feet. It's just something that's not with the GLO. So just find out, says we need an additional letter circulating it from here. Once you do that. I don't see a reason why. Ideally, so you understand what we applied for a grant with the GLO to provide embankment. So we do want to do some form of embankment curve.
Right.
And to try to do so the proper way, but even still, we would still need some form of backfill, actual fill, right? In this case, to actually stabilize the area, so then we can eventually add the sand, then the dirt, then the grass to rebuild that natural space. But what you have right now, I don't know the quantity of what you have, probably not enough to get started, but you can start to stabilize it, just make sure you stay within 500 feet now.
It was,
But to your other point, getting with Tech Stop now, which we're having pretty good communication with them now,
y'all should.
maybe getting that going and getting that program going. The only thing is when you extend that beyond the 500 feet is where it's a problem, but it does give the authority to get engineering approval, which I'm sure they can provide.
Right.
In line with our engineer to get that done, but at least you'll get a part of the project done. You don't have to wait. We no longer have to wait.
Yeah.
Right.
So that letter is very important. Let's follow up on that.
All right.
Do you need it, Amanda? Because I don't. Do you need this letter?
I
Okay.
should have a copy of
Okay.
everything.
Cause I got this directly from Mac. I don't know if
Yeah,
you got something.
gave it
else.
to
Yeah,
us
we
last
should
summer.
all have that.
Okay, good.
All right, we'll move on. Okay, let's go to new business, discuss city website update. Obviously Kyle's out here. He'd be about the only one to give us info.
I mean,
That's
should
not
be able to look it up and see if it's correct.
We'll
It's
make
not.
sure all this stuff gets added. We have pictures of everybody. But
No, not of the current. It's been quite a few years.
You have my alter ego.
It was even before Tanya, I believe. It would just be probably the remaining 4 here.
So somebody needs to bring a good camera to the next meeting.
We can, we can talk to JP and, see if we can schedule sessions and get a
Yeah.
headshot.
I
Is that
like
what
my
we're looking for? Is
picture.
We're looking at doing headshots on everybody?
No,
So-
my,
Also,
no, my
if
pictures
I
look so
may-
good.
If I may, if there's any board members who have not yet gone through their swearing process, this will be scheduling a night for all boards to come together for us to discuss the bylaws and everything else, and have like a board retreat. And at that time, anybody who needs a swearing, can get sworn at that time.
Did you have?
I haven't,
This
I've done
is
my
the
online, but I haven't
swear-in
been sworn
slash
in.
Yeah.
Neither
the
has Tanya,
classes.
and neither has.
All of it. I mean, I did it, but
We're going to swearing classes, retreat, and also kind of, this time to redo the bylaw, make sure everybody.
And bring everybody online with the bylaws.
Yeah.
So we haven't scheduled that yet, but that would be the end of the.
Like I say, if you read yourself, what we're talking about on A is the update, get the conceptual plan updated so the community, can when they ask, we can direct them to look at it.
I think
And
Elise
then,
just needs a binder
needs a
like what we
binder,
got from
I'm
last
sure.
time, by the way.
Yeah,
Ms. Major, can you please try to do that so we have a copy of the binder?
and then,
Absolutely.
Please.
and then one of the corrections was they list Mike as nominated through Councilman Carlson. Mike was nominated through the mayor,
Mayor Mel.
and things get moved around. She was actually nominated through Carlson. So her name's not on the website yet, but the position that Mike was through was wrong.
Any administrative changes you guys can do that would be appreciated. Work with select people. And also, item B, there, my fault, I'm just talking about comments I have that you, we have this one.
Well, we don't need it, do we?
Item B.
I mean, the volunteer
volunteer
stuff will be done with, the city stuff, and whatever stuff we do is gonna be joining the city events and whatever you said with these other groups. So we won't have-
I'm gonna have a draft we ought to look at before we send it to you, but I haven't had a chance to do that, so I'll make sure I work on that.
You're talking about B. So it'd be
Just
different than what the volunteer
clarification
league
of it
that
and everything. He had
KLMB has.
We're gonna do it citywide, so we don't have those things.
I got you, I got you.
Have volunteers. We have some folks that come in community service,
Mm.
that are doing for hours for school.
Right.
We have some that are doing hours for other stuff, and we have folks that just want to share the volunteer. But there's certain things.
I see what you're saying.
Broken or something, liability. Or something. There's also certain things that have to take place when you volunteer around kids,
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
and none of that is right now being covered, so.
You have to document all of it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Mhm.
All right. So I guess we'll move on to 9C. Again, it was kind of mentioned about Tanya is new park repairs and priorities. She's. the one
And
that
I've
stays on the-
already updated, they've already started, the last thing I updated was the, power washing, and then
So,
it's all on here, everything's on here.
okay, everything, your latest stuff,
Everything's on
that's what I was getting at,
spreadsheet.
so the board would know what you've been doing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, thank you.
What's that?
Yeah, everything that's on that spreadsheet is in request tracker and it's in my draft.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Can I ask not necessarily a stupid question, but why do we have like 3 systems to track stuff? You know what I'm saying?
We can talk for hours.
We could, we really could.
I mean, it, in the big scheme of things, it's not that big a deal, but at the same time, if I put in a request and then it goes to this side of the table, that side of the table, and this side of the table in 3 different ways, you know, how do we know?
So the Civic Plus is designed to be user-friendly for the public and for staff. So if we're talking about this work order system, anybody, citizens, anybody can go
Can
in
go
and
into
it's just easily put in your
Civic
request
Plus.
and it shoots it through the department that you want it to go to. Now, once we receive it, the reason why we go through MyGov is because MyGov is a tracking,
A true tracking.
yes, and so it's labor, materials, the cost of everything included, time from the project was requested till it was completed. So, and with that, we can produce monthly, quarterly, annually reports.
Budget reports and
Right.
stuff. Okay.
And open records when they request it.
Yes,
We just like, one of the things we're gonna do is get budget where it allows.
Well, my thought process is what would be a way to simplify it so that you don't have to look 2 or 3 places for staff, for whoever. I
We
will.
play all of this stuff. It is a thorn in, I think, everybody's side, but based on budgetary constraints, we may need to stick with it for at least another year until we're able to find it.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
are searching.
is there other systems out there that
Absolutely.
are simpler and easier?
There are that can be more streamlined,
yes.
and there's certain bells and whistles we could probably get on the ones that we have that will make it more streamlined.
Sounds like they might be more expensive.
They are, and right now, I'm.
Yeah.
It's just like with the cash register
More
system.
expensive
you know?
if you're using one and drop it 2, you know.
Yeah.
You're
You see what
saving,
I'm saying?
yeah.
If
It's
you
kind of
drop
like
the-
when,
You drop the current ones you have, but go to something that's user-friendly for the
Right.
public and for the staff, or the public only, they can only submit inquiries and see a certain aspect of it, while staff can see all of it.
everything, yeah.
Right.
And
there's also
that's
so
just,
many advances in software lately.
yeah.
That's really, it's so new, it's changing every day. Even our current companies are doing upgrades.
Yes,
So,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. I mean,
All right.
my whole thing is what makes it easier on these guys to do their daily job? And if they don't have to look in 3 different places, you know?
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
you're
used to
just
it.
like, oh, we're
No, we're
used to it.
used to it. I mean, it's just,
It's not really difficult. I mean, it's a lot of.
But it takes some
information.
time.
Yeah, it is, but it's effective.
Okay.
For the, 1 or 2 open reference
And then
requests.
what,
we
any
get.
notes we put in,
Oh,
it's
thank
fine.
Oh, I was
in a request,
sarcastic.
sees what we put in, it
Mhm.
knows. what we're doing.
So like,
yeah.
I know like you'll get the automatic reply when you add something in, and then somebody will come back in and it says something like iPhone for whatever reason, sent from the iPhone,
Well,
and then it
I'll
gets,
say that that
it gets redirected
people
to,
submit items through their app, it comes in as an iPhone request.
Yes.
Oh.
And
Yes.
so I have to go in and put it to where the department.
I got you. Yeah, because that's where it says,
It
see
doesn't
where it
direct it.
redirect.
Not if you do it from your, no.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Cool.
All right, we'll move on, and for some clarification on item D, again, that was a little issue. We had that, we left like $7,000 or $8,000 on the table remaining. And then I was, because it says discuss an inflatable movie screen and projector. It wasn't for the 22-23. It was
Oh, it's for
using,
this year.
it was using some of that remaining 7,000 or 8,000 for this
Oh,
year to
okay.
buy
So that we can do movies
in the park.
which League City does.
I
I think Galveston does too, doesn't it?
anyway.
Well, you keep rolling your
Y'all the ones that keep pushing for it. Y'all too.
I didn't say anything. Don't get the
Y'all
attitude
been
with
asking
me.
for to do, let's do movie.
Look, we're gonna go
I
old
think it's
school.
great. I think it's a wonderful thing to do. Do you have a price on it?
She has.
We talk about it if it's a mute point.
It's
Why
no,
is it a
it's not
new
a
point?
point.
It's not, it's,
It's not, this is where you bring this
No,
up.
because this isn't, that wouldn't be a city
So,
event. That would
Tanya,
be
when
a,
we were
Well,
discussing-
he just said, because I asked for clarification, and he said,
Everybody say that, because if it's a parks event, you don't gotta get a special event permit on that, it's a city event. And if it's regular constitutional programming, then you're covered. If not, you gotta go through the whole special event permit.
So we would have to,
So
if
in
it's a
other words,
parks
we'd
board
have to,
event,
we'd have to do it every month
we'd have to get the,
We have to do a permit for.
or
all
every
events.
couple of months.
Like right now, if the paper doesn't get turned soon for Body Fest, I'm gonna have to cut body. I'm just telling you, we're gonna follow protocol.
I'm not, no,
We're gonna follow the
I
rules.
understand, right, no, that's not why, okay, no, that's, it's
Anyway.
fine, it's not a problem.
Miss Tonya, you have a cost for,
Yes.
okay. Because otherwise, we're gonna do old school like my grandma and put a sheet up.
Amen.
Well, there's also a
Walking
company,
whiteball.
There
Yeah,
are several sizes of the movie screens that you can purchase. The 20 feet is what they usually do with the normal things. And it goes up to 25 or 30, depending on where we want to have it. And the cost for that, depending on how Amazon is feeling, this unit is a 20-foot outdoor projector screen with an inflatable movie screen, blow-up screens. It has a front and rear, so it can be watched on both sides.
Okay.
Projection with air blower, and it was $189.99. And the one that was 25 foot is it was on sale. Okay, this one is $349.99.
for the 25 foot.
what's the regular price? Does it tell you the regular price? If you don't catch
Yeah,
it?
this other one up here that was on
That-
sale.
yeah.
Them inflatables, you have a problem on a windy day.
Yeah, but they,
Well, the goal is not to be out there when it's windy or raining.
but they also have.
Any
patterns.
any
They have
other
patterns.
knows.
No, I just thought it was funny. That's not. really
My
protected,
God.
right?
So
Oh, it just
that's a
says
whole
the
nother thing. She's
percentage
just
off.
talking
It
about the
doesn't have
screen
to
right
cover.
now. She
The
got
reason
the
why I
price.
say
the
that is
screen,
because- The reason why I
but-
say that is because I don't know if y'all noticed when we blew up the thing for the race. It's actually a movie screen, like an inflatable movie screen without the middle. So I know you said funny adding the sheet. I think
Yeah.
there's like a little thing that you can add. to make it-
There's some kind of tarp or something that you can put in the
Yeah, you put it
middle.
on it, it
Yeah.
makes it- You already got the inflatable part. But I digress. But I think that's true. But-
I think that's just put a banner across the top is what the
And
attachments
obviously,
are.
we're gonna put start on one side and finish on the
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
Have to move
But
it.
what I'm saying, it wasn't.
He's saying
Things
it's
at the
not
bottom.
for,
Oh, no, it was just the outside.
Yeah.
But there's a possibility that something like that exists with that type of
Well,
system.
they've already got that system. so
Well-
they can't get a system that has it.
No, no, no.
well, Miss Tanya,
Mhm.
there happens to be a local small business that we could do test runs
Mhm.
possibly
Mhm.
and
City's already done
support
that.
local. Well, you know what? The city ain't
Just
us.
finish, Tamara,
Rock.
finish. Don't get distracted. Don't get distracted.
So we could get with them. I think, I'm gonna put her on the spot and, say Miss Elise actually knows the owners.
That was coming.
Yeah, we can use the
And I'm
test
not
run
saying,
before
I'm
we
not
go
saying ask
live.
for a discount,
I'm actually,
but,
I can reach out to them, but I'm actually not sure if they're still in business.
okay, well, and maybe if they have the equipment, we could buy it
I was
from
kind
them.
of thinking that if they're
But
not
that's
in
also
business, I can
something
ask.
that you could possibly get somebody to sponsor and buy.
Mhm, yeah,
Mhm.
it could be, but I'm
'Cause
saying
I-
if
I
they
can tell
still
you
are in
right now,
business.
I know Tiny and some other people
He's
with,
moving on.
well, I know he's moving on, but I'm just saying, some other people that you tell them what your thought process is, and we're talking $500 to $1,000, and they'll purchase it
Mhm.
and donate it to the Parks Board
Well,
and the citizens of
And
Lamar.
I wouldn't go much further, you have a former Parks Board member who could benefit from it, or each Snow King, you could maybe say, hey, what do you think of this idea? We call it the Snow King. You know what I mean? The,
projection screen,
no,
movie
no,
screen.
No, you call it the Snow King, movies on the lawn.
Yeah,
You know, I hate to sound like NASCAR, but.
well, that's what, I mean, unfortunately, in this day and age, that's kind of what you have to do to get people to get involved and to donate. You have to throw their name out there at the top, and you have to,
I hate to keep going back to red, white, blue, and white, but we had, it was, one company was sponsoring the the car show, another one was sponsoring the kites. Another one was gonna do, like, it was, we were doing that to give that, you couldn't get one sponsor for the full amount.
So why
This
not
person will
piecemeal
give
it?
2,000, this one will give 500, this one will give 1,000, that's how they piece.
So,
Yeah.
so let me jump in on that real quick, because when we were calling and asking for sponsorship for Red, White, and Blue and Bayou, I had one company in particular that I asked him for $250 to pay for the face painter, and they cut us a check for $250.
Yeah.
And but wanted to donate more. So maybe if a representative from Park Board reached out to this vendor, they'll cut you a check for what you want. He says they rarely get the opportunity to sponsor anybody.
And get involved in the
Hey, we're looking
community.
for
Yeah.
sponsors. Let's do some outreach.
Yeah,
I can tell you, it's this notebook or another notebook. I have 64 sponsors, possible sponsors written down that we could make phone
You
calls
wanna
to.
call them, or do you
That
want me
these
to
are people
call
that
them?
we give business to.
I think we need to go a step further and
that's a-
not just
for
call them,
everybody.
but, hi,
I'm fine with that. Amanda, will you pass me that information and I'll reach
Absolutely.
out to them?
Absolutely.
just knock us off
So-
loose.
I think you.
All right,
But you broke it.
so y'all can go out and do that.
Tamara's
but
got it.
What I was
Yeah,
getting
God,
at
Jesus.
is, I know her cost, what she's looked at, and I know what the police department would pay. They were renting, the police department was renting. Two events at the police department, we would own the equipment.
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah.
getting
Now,
at.
if y'all wanna go out, let's
I mean,
go.
if you look at League City, they do it every month,
Right, correct.
every month. I think Texas City does it once every quarter.
So
You know.
again, we get the equipment, y'all get it donated or we buy it. That's why it was on the agenda. Right?
Yeah.
Either we buy it, if y'all don't want to buy it, y'all wanna get out and hustle and
But-
get it.
Exactly.
So,
Okay.
the next, I guess we'll move on because y'all gonna understand that it was discussion. Now, next thing is discuss possible action, because this was idea for the BioFest. The different departments in the city have those branded tents. They mostly say the city of Marque, but like down on the side, it'll say fire department, police department. I'm asking, let's get one for Parks Board, let's say Parks Board on it. And, as these events are coming up, and or at the, for instance, Highland Bayou Fest coming up. And some of these meetings we discussed, they're wanting out in the parking area. Instead of y'all going all over the place, they're wanting to do a staging area. That's fine. And they put whatever tent up. One of the things JB had mentioned, because moving forward with all the technology, they were wanting to do it for the red, white, blue thing, didn't happen. So coming onto the property into the area, if say we had us a 10 by 10, 10 by 20, whether we have somebody sitting there or not, because they keep trying to lean to the Parks Board, help them more. So anyway, is QR codes. When they come into the field and say drop off, we have a Parks Board tent, and then it'd be an informational tent. And they would have a QR code, and maybe somebody sitting there that can, if there's any questions, here you go. You can scan it with your phone, or, you got a question, I can answer it for you. That is where I'm talking about, put a branded, Parks Board branded tent. And they're not cheap. What, about 1,000
About $2,400 is what we pay for ours.
for the 10 by 20s?
Yes,
Yeah.
every one that we ordered was 10 by 20s. And if I'm not mistaken, ours was $2,400.
Yeah, that's about right. But it's not just for that one event.
That's why.
As we get into these other events, start hosting events at the parks and stuff, we're there. We kind of really need it. I mean, we don't really need it, but it's nice to have it as branded.
Would it be white or blue?
Ours is, if you look at your name badges, the logo, the background
light
on the
blue.
name badges is what our canopies are. It says City of Lamarck's, Public Works, or it'll say City of Lamarck, Parks Board,
Seemed like the fire
So-
departments were a little bit darker or something
they were all the same.
when they did that thing out here, the food giveaway. I thought it was fire department.
Unless they
Because I
have a
remember all
separate-
yours were
Unless
that
they have a
that light
separate
blue.
one, but been the one that's put them up since we
Mhm.
purchased them, so they were all the same. Unless they have something else that they've ordered in the meantime, I don't know.
So that was, that idea is, like say, again, using some of that money we left on the table for this year's budget. And in theory, she would have enough time to order it for the Biofest, 6 weeks, or whatever. And it was just the idea to, something that I'm suggesting that we could buy for, with some of that money left over.
We already got the money.
Yeah.
I move that we use part of the money to buy a canopy for the Marque for the branded canopy.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? There we go. All right. F, discuss possible action at the Biofest. So kind of like the same, we have new members since then, but so October 15th Biofest, where they're going to get, they reduced it by 2, so they're going to have 4 carts. And gentlemen over there, we've mostly been doing it for years. They run that shuttle market. But the other thing that we take on is on the weekend before, Saturday, October 8th, we meet out there and it's about 3 or 4 hours to paint the, mark out the cook-off spots. Yeah, that's fine. But if it's in town.
Oh, I
if
know.
it's in town-
But he'd
I help
rather,
that
yeah,
for
he'd
you.
rather do that.
So,
We'll provide bottled water to everybody.
yeah. Oh, so with that being said is, I guess, put that request in for you for, it's 24 cases of the ground paint. I mean, 2 cases of 24 for the ground paint. I know that 2 years ago, we got 2 cases, but they were like 6 packs. And so we only got 12.
Most
No.
marking paint comes in 12
Yeah,
packs.
but one time we
Rob, you
got.
get what I give you and you stretch it and make it.
Now, let me ask you this too. So,
Does it have to be orange?
yeah, well, it's just standard. So now let me ask you this.
No, I'm
'cause
serious. I'm serious because
orange is easy to mark, easy to see for the cook.
I've got green, I've got yellow, I got pink, I got orange.
So if you,
Get it for free, you get another.
That's what I'm getting at.
I mean,
Are
okay,
they
Now,
neon?
if you
And
get
colors?
I have neon colors that they're not, it's not marking paint. It doesn't, because marking paint washes away with the rain.
well, yeah,
I
that's what we
have-
want
I
to
have
do.
permanent, a ton of it. Pink.
Okay, we got sensory
Is it-
sidewalks and all this other stuff.
Okay,
we
hold on,
got to
hold on.
paint.
But you're
Yeah,
talking
but
about
you don't
brush
wanna
paint.
use that
She's
kind
talking
of
about
paint
mostly
on
brush
the,
paint. You're talking
Oh,
about upside down
wanna
ground
make sure
marking.
it's not
Yes.
something I
All
can
right.
use.
So now let me ask you this, because that was part of the expense is, so we roughly go through 24 cans, whether it's, whatever permanent or wash away or whatever, is to get us a couple, 2 to 3, unless you already have them. 'Cause Max always had one,
I
the
can
the
get
little
it from
stick.
work.
Okay, but now what I'm asking is the extension stick that you hold.
I can
spray.
get it from work.
All right, so.
The marking wands. Yeah,
The marking
I
line, there you
I
go.
can get it from work.
Okay, so,
I
But-
can get it donated. Let me put it out there like that.
Yeah,
I
okay.
can get it donated.
So,
So, I mean,
So this is
whatever
whatever
color-
color
let's
for
be
the
real
Bayou
honest.
Fest. Is that what we're
Yeah,
talking about?
this is-
Okay.
this is for the marking paint.
Well, I mean, if you
So
want
hers
to
is
use
paint,
that
hers
paint,
is
that's
permanent.
fine.
well, actually,
But I thought,
Okay.
if we use her
Wait,
paint,
we
she's
so
calling
close.
it permanent. So here's what happens sometimes, and these guys been around long enough to see it. The ground marking paint, 'cause it rains a lot in October.
I understand.
We paint it on Saturday and it washes
And then
out.
a week
come-
later, it's washed out.
It's
yes.
Monday or Tuesday, it rains.
But
So if we use that paint she's got, and it's kind of
So,
like more
So-
permanent.
so here's the deal. Let me just clarify this real quick. The paint that I have has inverted marking tips.
Yes.
Okay, so it's permanent paint with inverted tips. He can get the marking wands for,
I'd rather have permanent paint if you have it on
Okay. How
okay,
many
so paint's
marking
taken
wands?
care of. So how many marking wands do you need?
for,
four, okay.
because we got
Look,
like
I'll-
8 people out there.
I tell you what, I'll
18.
get 6 or 8
And you-
and
Just have them for whenever.
Yeah, because they're, because the more people
Well,
we
don't-
get out there, the better, and you're running different roads, like 2 or 3 guys on this aisle, 2 or 3 guys on this aisle, and like that. It takes an army.
Okay,
my
so
only
we,
thing with the permanent paint was like Miss Tanya was saying, we're gonna be marking over sidewalks and stuff.
No,
that we-
no,
No,
no.
no gravel.
No.
Just gravel.
It's not gravel area.
It's gonna be
And so-
rock.
I didn't know what kind it was. I was trying to see if I could claim some,
Oh, you can have it after it's done.
but it's not what we gonna need.
You
You
can-
need the cement paint
Yeah,
for the,
Okay.
concrete. Make it stay longer.
so now we're good with that. Whoever, so anyway,
Good.
on the 15th, again, moving forward, this is kind of their plan, and perhaps it's gonna happen. Obviously, we're doing the carts, okay? The guys doing the carts, women can help too, but their plan for the red, white, blue thing was to have like a little booth there. And more or less like information. And JB was talking about getting the parks board to run it. 'Cause
Are we
it's-
doing
it's-
that for the Bayou Fest? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm
Okay.
trying to talk, and
And
it's
we're gonna
basically,
have
you
a-
know, they come up, ask you what
Canopy.
event's going on
We
here.
got it, we got
or
it. It's an
scan the QR
information
code.
booth, yeah,
It's basically information booth.
okay.
And so that would be the labor on the 8th for marking,
Mhm.
and then volunteers on the 15th to do shuttles and to sit at
The booth,
the information booth.
the branded canopy station.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I have a 4-wheel drive cart to drive,
The golf carts.
so I can go off into the.
We're moving on to a new vendor this year. Hopefully they'll, golf carts are hard.
I want
Golf carts and side by
Franklin to be
side.
with me, and we're gonna go out behind the.
Huh.
I'll read that, it's personal.
Yeah, I'll come out there with 2-seater.
Yeah.
Look,
We
they got,
We've
they,
got some officers that bring their personals out
Yeah,
there.
bring
Um,
in UTV or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
I have a UTV,
yeah, I know you do.
and then so,
You run over people in it.
yep.
Last year, we had a bunch of them to break down. They want-
Sure.
Yeah, they're,
that's the
again,
problem.
they're,
Yes. It
they're,
was terrible last.
they're going to, you know, remember,
Y'all got
for last
different
3
vendors?
years, they've been bad.
Yeah.
So
My understanding
they're
is
moving,
because
they're
the
reaching out to the company they use for their golf tournament,
And so
it's
that's
Richmond
what
Golf
we're
Cart
doing is
State,
find them.
bunches of them, and that's their only
Um,
goodness.
these Browns.
And so hopefully, you know,
Yeah.
But apparently they have located-
you know, we'll get better quality, because I asked them to switch to a different company,
Mm.
because we had just as much problem with the one last year as the one, the
Yeah,
2-year
that-
ones. The
yeah.
other ones look good, but they just kept breaking down. The ones from Galveston, they look good, but they just kept constantly breaking down. So, all right, so then I guess we're getting close to the end. Our next meeting should be
August 18th.
August 18th,
at 6.
6 p.m. Oh, it's already moved on.
Yeah.
Man, you get good.
Mm.
Man, how many years?
We're ready to go.
Start writing the dates and time.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I have one item, if I could please ask your assistance. We are having a meeting on 1 week from tonight here. We'll be discussing. Discussing. Part of that grant, we're putting an item on there to get formal support to the resolution for the Mayhead Park grant. And that's the item pulled to allow for public comment. Please come forward and say, hey, we as a party will support this grant. Discuss it at the party board meeting. You're eligible, you want to do it. We want to submit a strong.
I'll
So
be
next
there.
Monday night?
It's in the day.
Oh, it's in the day.
Yeah, I'll be there.
If you could work, getting that information.
What day?
That's Thursday, the 28th. It'll be the very first thing.
Oh, next Thursday?
Mhm.
I believe so.
No, I'm out.
I'd have
I'll
to
be here.
either
Yeah.
get a sitter or
I'll
bring
be
my
here.
children.
What time, Caesar?
10.
10 a.m.
But basically, we're gonna open the meeting, do the pledge, everything else. There's 2 items I think that we're gonna have on there that are regular business, we have to have their time sensitive. And then the intention is the first item is full. At that time, you guys can come forward and speak, assuming that you're still supportive of that, as you have supported tonight. And open discussion, closed discussion, all the votes, get the minutes documented, attach that to the actual application.
Did we get our request approved with the charter review?
I believe it's still being final consideration.
And that's for the 2 employees.
No, that's
I
to,
believe that's
request that they add a parks
10.
department and.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, yeah. that's what I mean.
Basically,
Two employees.
short and sweet, just to say, I mean, if it takes more than 3 minutes to do that whole item, then we've been here too long. It should be short, it's just to document the fact that we're getting public support. And obviously, you have the public.
We did good, it's 7:50.
So it's that time of year, time of the meeting.
What Tanya was talking about, is already cleared through
It's in the process.
legal and all that.
No, it's in the process.
It's in charter review,
Okay.
and being that it's going through charter review, the next step is for them to, considering that it's cleared them to charter review. is to take it forward. If you don't mind, if you please ask here to find out where they left off. You more maintenance, where they left off. I'm almost sure that they hear that recommendation, but I was not last night's charter meeting.
Okay. I just wanted to.
All right,
clarify
Bo,
where it was at.
what you got to say, Bo?
Well, I like to make an announcement. I just want to share something with the park board. I went to work at 12 years old, working full time. I've been working full time ever since. Been in the workforce for 72 years. Go youth sports for 30 plus years, and I've been on Pavilion for 50 plus years. Been on the park board in excess of 30 years. And it was a pleasure for me to be on this board, along with the city workers. They do a good job. What I'm trying to say, people, is that it's time for me to retire. I hate to say it, but I'm resigning as of today. And it ain't because of the folks. I enjoy working with these guys, but hey, I just want to kick back. I got grandkids I want to spend time with. And I've been trying to pass, it's time for me to pass the time. So it's been a pleasure working with every one of you folks, including the new folks. You know, it's time for me to wrap it up. Okay. I want to say one thing. If you need some drivers for Pavilion Fest, put my name in the hat. Because I enjoyed that. But if you need my help on anything, you call me.
Yes, sir.
I'm not saying that I don't want to participate, but I'm tired of going to meetings. If you want to talk with me, meet me on the sidewalk.
Meet you at the coffee shop.
I don't want to be in no more meetings, okay? I enjoy it, folks.
Thank you, Mr. Hunter, for your service.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And after 30 years, I think you deserve it. Take a little break,
I think
spend
you
time
got-
with your grandkids.
I think you got another 5 years in you,
I
personally.
started about 10 years ago, back with that.
Look, he'll be ex officio for 5 years.
There you go.
I can completely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
That's not paid, but
You
you said
believe.
so we're 12 and doing it for 70 years.
I've been in the workforce 7 years. I started working at 12 years old. I've been working ever since.
This man ain't stopped. He has not stopped.
I worked all through high school. I went to college, and on weekends, I went to prison, and on weekends, I come to Galveston, work weekends, and make some money to pay my tuition.
Yeah.
And I did some work on campus, which was kind of illegal, it doesn't pay my tuition, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. Thank you.
Also a pilot, aren't you? There's also a pilot, don't
Yeah, I've been flying patient for 27 years.
That's a special person too.
you?
You fly them all over the country?
all over the United States.
So,
I don't fly from here to California, but we do relay flights.
yes, sir.
I may fly from here to New Mexico, and I fly from New Mexico, or fly, wherever. But I did that for 27 years. I retired from flying basically 3 years ago.
Well, from me and Venetia,
Oh,
it has been
man.
an absolute honor to work with you guys and serve with you on this board. I'm stepping down too. I'm just sorry.
I already know you got 4 more years.
Oh, don't rub it in. No, it's, we've been here with each other for a long time. We've had our good times and our rough times with each other. It's hard to see you go. It is.
Well, I
We will miss you.
want to commend you two ladies for the work that y'all done since I've been on the board. You've gone beyond your capabilities, and we really appreciate it. You made our jobs a lot easier. What you just said about giving us a report on this, be sure and thank the city workers. We
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
That's what matters. Yes, sir.
I'm trying not to cry. Mr.
I know, bro. We're like trying to suck it up because we've been together for so long. This is.
He's
hard.
not going
I
away
feel-
completely. He'll still say
I
hello.
know. It's just.
That's what they all say.
I felt the same way when I retired from the petrochemical company. I worked there for 31 years. And they had a reception for me, and I enjoyed everything, but one thing I ain't gonna do, I ain't gonna cry.
Them eyes already puffy over there. I looked right through the glasses. That was the first thing I said. And Mike over here.
No, I can tell what he.
Well,
No, I'm
it's
sweating.
you over there.
I'm
Okay.
It's not just, I mean, we've all been together for so long, and I'm gonna tell you,
His family.
when Venetia and I first came on this board, it wasn't easy. There was a lot of fighting between ourselves and the board members, trying to get everything situated and get everything in line with what y'all were requesting, and it was a lot to get to where we are now. For us to be able to come together and work harmoniously like we have for so many years. So it's hard to see you guys leave us like that, but
Thank you. I want to thank everybody.
you just gave Venetia a reason for alcohol.
If y'all need me, you got my phone number, you call me. Okay?
Absolutely.
And I'm serious when I say that. I'm not giving up. I want to rack it up.
There you go. We better see you at the parks with your grandkids.
All right.
Coach.
Well, I'd just like to piggyback off of Bo. I didn't know he was gonna do this today, and I was.
Oh my
planning on-
God.
no.
You're not. I can't do this.
Herbert, are you gonna hit us too?
He
The
said-
April Fools.
Oh,
Oh, there you go. I came on just after Bo, so I've been here along with him, side by side. We've been through some ups and downs, through some chairmans, up and down and all that good stuff, but hey, it's been good, Bo. It's all good. We don't miss you, but I know what your number is.
Yeah.
Other than that, hey, everybody, and welcome
thank
to,
Absolutely.
Elise.
welcome to you. And we're just, hey, we're gonna keep moving on and keep on trucking and doing the very best we can. And between Amanda and Nisha, they'll keep us straight. So, then we seem as though we have a city manager who.
It seems that way,
Acting
don't
on
it?
board.
Oh my God.
It seems like we got a guy that acting.
I just wish he would come to meetings more.
I get in the more meetings than city manager, been in more meetings than the city manager.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, welcome. to
All
you
day,
too.
every day with him.
So other than that, this meeting has been here long enough, I'm gonna be quiet. This guy here is well versed on anything and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
And he
is.
knows what he's doing.
Mhm.
I call him the boss.
Yeah.
We all call him the boss.
Yes. You got the
There's a
right name.
difference.
Cecil.
The only thing about that is, They seem like they come and they go. They come and they go. You need to stay.
I'm here to serve the purpose of the residents of the market.
Thank you, sir.
As long as y'all.
Thank you, sir.
Very politically correct.
Time you make sure that.
I will, but I can't speak for everybody.
We got that on tape, right?
Yes. Yes, it's on tape.
All good.
But I'll be quick. I thought I knew where Bo was going, but I thought he was gonna say at the end of the year. I didn't know he was gonna say tonight.
Yeah.
Well, I think my time is up, man. This is my last.
Nah,
meeting.
I think
Yeah,
end of
well, I
the
mean,
year,
but
though.
they, I think from, if I ain't mistaken, they changed everybody's date to year ending.
And
So you would have 2-3 more months and that. 'Cause we-
and then when Coach said what he said, I got a pain in my chest. But anyway, like Coach said, to piggyback on what Bo said. Want to thank you, ladies. I know we've been hard at times. I know it's been rough, but y'all hung in there. And I want to welcome Elise.
Yes.
Okay, and that's it for me.
It's your turn. Whatever's on your mind. Not nothing.
Oh, gosh, I have to speak. Yeah, y'all have all been great. You've been very helpful.
Hold on,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
flag
you're
over.
gonna flag over.
Flag.
I'm worried about that eagle hitting.
You worried about her eye?
I was trying to move out the way, give you all the space you
Oh,
need.
thank you. But no, you've all been very welcoming and I'm very excited to keep coming and hopefully, I've been quiet this time because I'm just kind of taking it all in and just kind of seeing what the flow of everything is. I promise I'll have more input next time, so. Thank you.
Mr. Caesar, you are a welcoming, okay, I'm gonna cut it short, but, we are glad that you're here, you're helping us out. We understand the stress that you are going through, and we know, you know, what the obstacles look like, the optics look like, and so we want you to continue to bear with us as we continue to bear with you during your budget seasons, and, again, we're gonna miss you. Welcome. And I just want to let everybody know that I've been nominated for Women in Leadership Award from the Texas City Lamarck Chamber of Commerce for nonprofit volunteers.
Oh, okay. Well, I would like to formally welcome Miss Elise to the Parks Board and thank Caesar for showing up and participating and helping us move things forward, because in my short time here, that hasn't happened a lot. And to Mr. Bo Hunter, it has been an absolute pleasure serving on this board with you and learning from you and everyone that has been on here who is no longer here. You know, Coach Walker, Coach Franklin, Brock, everybody, y'all were so welcoming. I came in when former Councilman Lane was still part of it. And I know there was a little tension with me coming on, and, you know, y'all didn't let that, yeah, y'all didn't let that, you know, sway y'all's acceptance of me and welcoming me. And I know I can be, you know, being the youngest, well, yeah, I think I'm still the youngest, you know, spunky at times. I appreciate you, the patience and the advice and the help and everything, and getting me to have this confidence to speak at these meetings. It's been wonderful, and I'm really glad that you're finally getting to fully enjoy retirement, and it's in all aspects. You more than deserve it, so you enjoy that rest, sir.
I've been retired 28 years.
Well, from this too now is what I'm saying, in its entirety, from this too. You get to fully, is what I'm saying. Go ahead, Mike.
First off, welcome.
Thanks.
I hope we haven't scared you off. It's a lot to take in. The first meeting, I did the same thing. I kind of sat back. I did speak up because that's just in my nature. But I did kind of sit back. I already knew some of these people. So that helped. Mr. Hunter, what can I say? You've been a fixture around here for 30 years. And it's gonna be hard to replace you, but at the same time, you deserve it. You deserve to spend time with your family and with your grandkids. And like you said, you're a phone call away. So trust me, we'll have coffee somewhere or dinner somewhere or whatever the case may be. So saying that, you know, I know I haven't been on the park board that long, but I have kept up with city politics. I know what y'all are saying about Caesar. My personal dealings with Caesar, I can tell you right now.
He's such a pain though.
Yes, he is. I mean, I don't know what the city saw in him when they hired him. But no, in all seriousness, first off, these two ladies and the other staff of the city do not get the credit they deserve. You and I both know that. So anything and everything I can do as a citizen, not just a park board member, but as a citizen to toot their horns and the employees of this city's horns, I'm gonna do it. And whatever I gotta do to fight's not the correct word, but fight for them, get them what they need, get this man what he needs, give him the support that he needs, because like Mr. Hunter said, he's doing a heck of a job. He's here every meeting. I know that the other city managers and
At all
other city
meetings,
people did
not
not.
just
Well, no, I
all
know he's at all meetings. Trust me, I know.
Um,
Me and him were on the committee for the school district for the new high school and stuff. He's at every meeting. Every meeting. So I know he's at every meeting, you know. I asked him the other night, when do you go to sleep? 3, 4 o'clock in the morning? And then he's up by 5, 6 o'clock. Trust me, I know that. So that's pretty much all I got to say, other than I enjoy being on this board and I look forward to all the stuff that we as a group can do to move the city forward on several levels, not just the Parks Board, but several other levels. Because I don't think that we stop at just being a park board member, because we all are citizens of the city. So that's all I got to say.
So I want to wrap it up, but
See, I knew he was gonna do that. I can't even look at him now. I can't even look
Take a
at
deep
him.
breath.
I knew he was gonna do that.
Especially what happened.
we still need them. Because I hadn't had a chance to have a one-on-one meeting with you. Because it's from information from about 3, 4 months ago. Talking this about the kind of 3 or 4 months ago, he talked to the father, Monsignor. Said, yeah, sure, whatever y'all need, you know, we're willing to work with you. After our last meeting, I believe it was, he went and talked to the Monsignor. Now, if you know the Catholic faith, he's the head of the church here, caregiver, keeper of the property. But ultimately, it belongs to the Archdiocese in Houston. Bo went and talked to him. Talked to him again about this long-term agreement. Well, things have changed. And father told them that they would want to put a clause in there about if they sell a property, if the diocese shuts it down because their attendance is going down, it would void whatever agreement we have with the city. But the other option is for the city, we can go through, the Monsignor could put us in contact, but the city approached the diocese about buying the property outright before, but their tenants, and when they told Bo, you know, it might be 2 years, it might be 5 years, it might be 10 years. But it's a possibility they would eventually close it down and sell a property. So I know it's a game changer, but
I think,
Bo's our contact.
I think for that money,
But I wanna, I'm glad you brought that up. I still wanna be your contact.
Yes, yes. That's what I'm getting
between
at.
myself and my team.
That's what I'm getting at. You're not getting out that easy.
well, I think, to that end, the security doors, acquiring that property.
Yes.
Partnership agreement with the local purchase, one of the other properties that we're looking at. We've had distributors in different areas. I'm glad to take a moment to also say this, I've been in discussions after the first meeting, I was here, you guys asked about at the stadium. I've toured the stadium, talked to TCISD about it. And we are in discussion with the possibility of us taking over it as well. So you talk about momentum and movement and motion and things that are going to place. I mean, I'm getting, you're talking about went from not having parks in certain areas in a short time ago, a little more than 4 months ago.
Right.
Having playgrounds that were dilapidated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's way, I can look at the pictures and see the
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
I think it's a testament of everybody on here's commitment of what you guys are doing. I can't say that about what staff says, but on that term, that's the next opportunity that, yeah, bring that for all of you. And we make that decision that way.
Yeah.
If the intention is to do that, we can't wait till 2 years from now. to do it.
Right.
We would need to start doing the diligence now, or possibly for acquisition or whatever, because that's
Mhm.
not the only situation that's out there. There's
Right.
Other opportunities, and this one, we
Right.
can technically take over through state.
Yeah.
Now, take over purchase of the park. I don't know if we can buy it for sale, I think it's more kind of go there where it's needed
Yeah.
to keep it. But there's a lot that goes to it.
Yeah. Well, I know from staff, it was last year, Texas TCISD put on originally put out bids for the old inner city school property that's off Texas Avenue back over here in Highland Powell. Well, you seen the church bought Highland Powell. From what staff has told me over their transportation department, that inner city's been pulled off the table
That is correct.
and they're going to build it as a transportation hub.
That is their intention, they would like to do that as a bus barn and transportation hub,
Yeah.
which, if that were to occur, would allow
That-
taking over efforts to actually be used for parking, which would be an asset. The same with the value of bringing it.
I hate to interrupt, but I'm wondering if we can find a stopping point to this and maybe put it on the next agenda. Because I got kids to go pick up. Well, I don't want to miss anything important either.
Yeah, well, it's just talking.
No, I know.
This-
That's
yeah,
why I wanna
this-
give that shit
this-
up.
Okay,
This-
okay.
Meeting
Meeting adjourned.
motion, I'll make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Tamara, you may leave and pick up your
Thank
chitlins.
you,
By
thank
the way,
you.
that comment on that, which is super confidential.
Oh, yes.
Not council, any other land that we're looking at, any other parts.
Sir, we were still on record.
Yeah, but that's why we're gonna make sure that that's. I'm sure the IT wasn't working properly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Sure.
No secret meetings. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's my right. That's what she-
I told her, I said, I would love to see us. do like these sports programs. I said, I don't know.